Hey, what's up, everyone? This is the Just Another Friday Night podcast. It is November 5th, 2021, 8:26 p.m.
Remember, the 5th of November, the Gunpowder Treason and Plot. I know of no reason why the Gunpowder Treason should ever be forgot.
And that's why we have this man right here, V, with us today.
Greetings, my fellow vaudevillian.
Greetings. I'm so excited to have you here. You are one of my favorite people in the world.
As you are of mine a favorite. I enjoy this podcast quite verily.
Awesome. I mean, guys, we have V in the house. It's November 5th. I mean, what a better way to start off our Friday night, right, guys? Friday night.
Yes, welcome Friday night. As on this 5th of November, I hope you are enjoying the day of Guy Fawkes and celebrating.
What are you doing out there to cause anarchy? V is here causing anarchy. I don't even know where my partner is at.
The night is young.
So, guys, light up a match, drink some beer, cause some anarchy, and join us for tonight's November the 5th.
Yes, I cannot wait. In fact, I should get out there quickly to begin creating chaos and anarchy.
And vendettas, I'm sure. So,
what does your audience have to say for us, Double A? I'm
Let's
curious
see.
before I go and make my anarchy known.
Rizzo in the house. Oh, Lodi. And Juan says, nice. And Jason said, what up, bros? Jason, I wish CM was here to tell you what up. But
hello, Christopher, Juan, and Jason. Welcome.
We got V in the house. It is November 5th. For all you comic book lovers, for you historical buffs, today's Guy Fawkes Day.
Guy Fawkes Day, a great patriot of his country and his nation.
Guys, what are you doing right now causing anarchy? Chris, Juan, Jason, causing any kind of explosions out there?
I know many of you deal with the totalitarian troubles on Facebook and end up in Facebook jail many times now.
Yeah, I know one person has.
You need a Guy Fawkes to show them the way.
Yes, you need a powerful symbol to show them
what's underneath this mask is a man, but ideas, Double A, are bulletproof.
Yes, sir. Yes, they are. And I love this whole getup.
Wonderful. What will you be discussing tonight besides my ventures?
We're going to be talking about everything that's coming out. We're talking about V for Vendetta, the book and the movie, which is all about Mr. V here. So Rizzo says he's not causing any anarchy. He's just drawing.
You should draw a letter V.
Yeah, how about
Chris,
drawing V?
That would be wonderful. Yes, or draw me, but the letter V also.
Yeah. Guys, it's fucking awesome how, you know what, this week sucked, V. This week sucked. But now that you're here, I know you're going to cause some anarchy for us.
As should you, sir. Enjoy yourself an alcoholic beverage and celebrate.
Guys, cheers.
There'll be no blowing up of the Bailey tonight or Parliament. Instead, I will be here with you and drawing, as Rizzo says, a V with a V.
Sure.
But alas, I should make my departure and get out there. And perhaps find your partner somewhere so that you can continue this wonderful show that I love so much.
Awesome.
So, all of you, as I said at the beginning, remember the 5th of November, the Gunpowder Treason and Plot. I know of no reason why the Gunpowder Treason should ever be forgot. All right,
V.
It has been a pleasure to see you. All right, I'm out.
All right, guys, that was Mr. V giving you guys a little taste of what's coming on for tonight. Juan says he's rebelling while changing oil. All right. Well, shit. Hopefully it's not an asshole you're changing the oil from. Rizzo says he might have trouble sleeping tonight. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I don't think he's going to cause you too much trouble, Rizzo, unless you did something at Lark Hill. So. We'll see right now, and hopefully my partner comes back, my real partner. Guys, we have a whole lot of things going on. How was your Halloween? How was your week? Is your Friday even better? Are you gonna have a good weekend? What's going on this weekend? Before you ask me, Jason, they are gonna have.
Oh, what is going on in here?
CM is in the house.
What is up, Friday Nighters? I just saw a cloaked man on top of your roof.
Yeah, he's
Jump off. He looked really badass. Man, what a guy.
It's his night tonight. So.
He looked like this guy on my shirt right here. People should not fear their governments, AA.
No.
Their governments should fear their people.
You think so? But...
That's what we think. Man, what is up, Friday Nighters? Oh, Rizzo's in the house. Wani boy in here. Jason. Oh, man, nice. Yeah, see, I'm late as you. Yeah, I know. It never fails. Every time the AA gets a really great guest, I'm over here dragging ass. So, you know, what are you going to do, right? You got a cold beer for your old pal Stone Cold?
Yeah.
Friday Nighters, what is up? Man, good to see you guys. Good to see there's some stuff going on tonight. Let me tell you guys. Hey, I haven't seen you since prior to Halloween.
Yep.
Let me tell you guys a fucked up story about this 12-pack right here. I go to Walmart, get this 12-pack here of Shiner Light Blonde, and I open it up, and much like a carton of fucking eggs, there's a cracked beer in there. So I got me an 11-pack instead of a 12-pack.
That's terrible.
So how's that for your Friday the 13th fucking... oh, wait, that's not the date. Today's November the...
It is an anarchic day.
You know what? I did break a mirror last week, though.
Yeah.
And that's how I paid for it. Me and Juan had a great discussion about putting... Is the universe always in balance? Are things that happen, do they create other things? Like, if you get good fortune, did someone else get bad fortune, you know?
You know, I don't like that idea, and I hope it's not true, you know, so... But I have come in contact with stuff like that, where I'm like, I may have said something... or did something fucked up, and then it usually comes and bites me in the ass.
That's
and
true.
I'm like,
karma, right?
I hate that, man. I hate that because I don't want it to be real.
I know. AA, is there any pop culture news? I know that, guys, we're keeping it eternal spoiler free tonight. Okay. If anybody has seen it, we haven't seen it yet. We're gonna probably see it this weekend.
Yeah, but no, maybe the big news was the trailer for the Book of Boba Fett.
Oh my, that went up on the Friday Night Faithful and on the Friday, just on the Friday Night page.
Coming out December 29th, so almost like at the very end of the month. But man, the book is coming.
You know, I follow Robert Rodriguez on Twitter, so that's where I first saw it. And I was like, oh shit.
Oh, because he's doing that one. That's right. I forgot.
Yeah,
I forgot. So.
And again, I give this man all the credit in the world because. We have never been Boba Fett fans. As much as people have loved him all these years, we were always like, what's all the fuss about? This is the guy that got knocked off the fucking thing by Han accidentally.
I mean, like Boba, even like Jango, I wasn't like completely sold on Jango either. I think Mando is kind of like the first like Mandalorian I've actually really enjoyed.
100%. I agree. From episode 1, I fell in love with Mando.
Yeah.
But I will say this. In Robert Rodriguez's episode in season 2, I was like, you just made me a Boba Fett fan.
Oh, yeah.
He major ass.
Yeah, he killed it.
Yeah, so, and we love Fennec, too, so that's going to be great to see them together. Super excited for Book of Boba Fett.
And then I saw, like, a whole listing. It's, like, the Book of Boba Fett. I think it's Andor.
Oh, yeah.
Obi-Wan.
I'm looking forward to that.
Obi-Wan. Then there was another one.
The Ahsoka?
No, it was Ahsoka next, but then there was something, like, in between.
Oh, okay.
Those two, I can't remember, but I mean, man, it's like a whole slate of Star Wars shows that's going to be coming out.
Yeah.
Oh, Mandalorian.
Okay. Yeah.
Mandalorian.
Season 3. Yeah. Cool.
Man, so it's kind of like finally Star Wars heavy. Finally, that's what we've been wanting ever since like the Disney bought it. We're always like, when are they going to start pouring out the Star Wars stuff?
And you know what, AA? Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I am, but do you feel like we should stagger it out a little bit more because, like, right now we're in a lull. What if ended and now we've got nothing from Disney? Unless you're rewatching those old shows.
I know, like I said, the plans kind of all changed. It was all supposed to lead into, I believe it was supposed to be Doctor Strange. I think was the first movie that was supposed to come out. After the shows had ended, it was supposed to be Strange, and then like it was going to go into like Spider-Man and all that shit.
Yeah,
you know, so it was going to be one big story, but everything just got fucked up. And
well, maybe they're giving people time, like right now too. Like what? Like we gave you Eternals. Like go to the theater, watch Eternals.
Yeah,
you know
but it's like you said, man. You're kind of throwing them on another hard sell. I mean, no one really knows the Eternals unless you're like a big Jack Kirby fan. You know that you're going to be like, oh yeah, the Eternals. Yeah,
and then it's so many of them too. It's like how do you? I
know.
Where do you jump in?
It's such a big cast, and then you don't know who is who, and you're like, okay, I know I like Richard Madden, but I don't know his character. Then there's Angelina Jolie, then there's Salma Hayek, you know, Kit Harington.
Kit Harington,
yeah.
I couldn't remember last week.
So it's kind of like, fuck, you know, so I know people are going to be like, well, who is he?
Right.
Who is he? You know?
And I kind of don't like it, too, that they kind of look, I hate to say it, but like kind of generically dressed in a way. Like they look like each other. Because I've seen the figures, and I'm like, I really wouldn't want to play with these. You know what I mean? Like,
but then again, it's kind of like, I guess, because the comics are kind of like brighter. Like, I think Richard Madden's character is like dressed in like like in blue. With
He's the
blonde
blonde guy, right?
Yeah.
The main blonde one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so-
Interesting. What do we got here in the comments here?
Rizzo says he likes the beer that you have. I feel like it's true. And then Jeremy in the house says, "Yo,
What up, Jeremy, man? How are you doing after our last episode? I still haven't had a chance to dive into Saw because I was preparing for this episode, which we're going to talk about. Obviously, I got to fix the name here. It's no longer double A and V. V left. V was here. That was cool, man. I missed out. Yeah, man. Super fun episode. Super fun having you on, Jeremy. And I got to dive into Saw for sure.
take your time on those. Don't worry about those.
Yeah, no doubt.
Oh, and then, man, if you're into wrestling, WWE just released a whole slew of wrestlers again. Some that just got signed,
Yeah, I saw like the Keith Lee thing.
Keith Lee, Karrion Kross, Scarlett got let go. Frankie Monet, who was Taya Valkyrie, she had just got signed not too long ago.
Wow, that's Morrison's lady.
Yeah, she just got released, and she posted like on Twitter saying how it was kind of surprised, and that she was kind of like angry a little bit about it, about just being released all of a sudden. They're saying due to budget cuts, but everyone's all like, but the reports coming in are saying that it's some of their biggest, money months they've had in a long time, and they don't understand where these budget cuts are coming from. So
yeah. I think Rizzo was saying he agreed with our karma conversation.
Oh, okay.
But
man, I don't know.
It's crazy. What do you think's up with Vince? Is there something going on?
I keep hearing here and there that he's
gonna
sell the company. It's kind of like, why then? Why did you destroy all these other wrestling companies?
Yeah.
And if your whole end game was just to fucking sell it then.
And not only that too, but I mean, it seems as though like for years, like Shane, Stephanie, and of course Triple H have had like a vested interest.
Yeah, but
and
it still always comes down to him though.
Well, right, but I mean, you wouldn't leave that to your kids?
I guess not.
Okay, there's grandkids too, because I know Stephanie and Triple H have.
Yeah,
I'm sure Shane has kids too.
Yeah, Shane does too.
So I don't know. It would be a shame to
I don't know, man. I'm sure they're going to be set with whatever deal they're going to be making, but still, it's kind of like, damn, that business has been with the McMahon family since Jess McMahon. The very first,
before Vince Sr.
Before Vince Sr. So I mean, golly.
What do your and I don't know if you conversate with this Double A, but I know you have a pretty, for the podcast, a presence with some older wrestling fans. Does the conversation ever come up on their thoughts on what the older generation thinks regarding what Vince is doing now?
Oh yeah, they hate it.
Oh, okay.
No, they hate it. They hate what he's doing now.
Could it herald a return to the territory age? Could this allow smaller promotions to pop up?
You would think so, but it's kind of like wrestling isn't that way it was anymore. You see, back then you could make it work because people believed in wrestling. Mm-hmm. They believed it was real.
I see. Interesting.
Now everyone knows it's just a bunch of bullshit. And it's kind of like, how are you going to get those hardcore fans back? Look, Ring of Honor has been around for so long trying to do that. And look where it's at now. It released all of its wrestlers.
Yeah, they seem like they're hurting, which makes me sad for them. I would not want to see that place go away. I hope somebody would buy that.
Impact, is doing its niche, but just to survive. I mean, there's really only AEW and WWE, honestly.
Is Corrigan still involved, Billy Corrigan, with,
he is with the NWA? But I mean, it's just a presence on YouTube.
I was going to ask you, how does that promotion run? Is it just a YouTube?
It's just YouTube.
But you know what? Maybe that does mean it could herald.
Him, but I'm sure he's still bleeding money somewhat.
Oh, I'm sure.
Bit,
Well, there's got to be a lot of overhead in wrestling. I mean, unless you do maybe like what Lucha Underground was doing, where you're like, hey, we're in one place all the time. You got to come to us to see wrestling.
But see, the thing was that they were giving their tickets away.
Shit. Yeah.
So that's what I heard. That's what I understand. The whole thing was is that they would give the tickets away for free. Well, it's kind of like, well, how are you going to keep fucking running that business? Right. And then I heard the production cost was so high.
Oh, it looked like there was a lot of production that went into it. Yeah, the makeup was great, and the ring, the setup, and then they were doing all these vignettes in between. Like I was like, whoa, this looks like it's kind of pricey.
And that's why it's not around anymore.
But I mean, I think you tell yourself, you throw the money at it early on, and you hope that it blows up, and then maybe they could have gotten to the video games, the action figures. I mean, you look at the model of WWE, and you kind of want to
but see, they were already set where WCW, they were bleeding money. Even at this highest, they were bleeding money.
I thought a lot of that too, though, was because they gave away the big contracts. You've got to, I mean, the guys should get paid for sure, but you've got to make it also too where it's like, hey, you can do this for
$100K a year versus you working at a warehouse or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, do you love this business or whatever?
You would think so, but I mean, I don't know. It's a rough time, and I don't think the territories will ever come back.
I would love to have this conversation with someone like a Brandon Oliver and like us really sit down and chop it up. Maybe in the future. We go to something cool.
Speaking of that too, kind of maybe in our future. Maybe
that's what I was thinking
about that. The wrestling store.
That'd be a great time.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, we did hear about something that may be coming up soon, guys. Where potentially we could be doing. We've been asked before, essentially a live show at a place. It would be on a Saturday. We would be there, set up at Rolling Oaks Mall. We're hoping and looking into it, and we're going to see what we can do. But potentially we could be there amidst some other vendors and possibly podcasters and do something live.
But it's all going to be like, from what I understand, it's just wrestling based.
Yeah, and there's going to be, I think, live wrestling going on. So I wonder how that would be.
But then he said the vendors too, that the vendors they can only be like wrestling merch only. So I was kind of like,
so we can't hawk our own merch.
Yeah, no, apparently not. So.
We'll find out. I'll find out for you guys.
But I mean, that's not until January. So
we'll work out the details and we'll let everybody know. And that would be really fun for us. That'd be our first time doing that. And maybe that means we could get people right out of the ring to come sit down with us and talk. Get to know them and see what they did in the ring and who they are and. You know what I mean? I know Thunder Rosa often goes to that wrestling store in Rolling Oaks, so I would love to have a chance to sit down with her and her sit down with us and talk with her. So,
that'd be so cool.
Anything like that would be really, really awesome. We talk about our 4-hour shows. That'd be a beast right there. So I think that's fun. But we'll let you guys know, keep you posted on that. Did I miss any highs or hellos? Where's Steve at tonight? Steve didn't cheers with me tonight.
It's a little cool out there, so maybe he's not doing that.
Maybe people are just enjoying the cool weather and they're out there. I think there's some stuff going on at my house with the family.
And guys, too, at Heroes, they're having another horror guest coming at Heroes and Fantasy, the 410. It's from the old Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, the actor who played the grandpa.
Oh, wow. He's still alive?
Well, he was actually a young dude.
Oh,
so like when he did the newer movies, he was like in his 40s or 50s.
No shit.
Yeah, so
cool.
He was actually a young guy. So he'll be at Heroes tomorrow from 12 to 5. So that's that. And then the big boxing fight tomorrow.
Yeah.
Canelo Alvarez is looking to become the sixth man to be the whole undisputed champion, the only champion in his weight division. So
right.
So it's gonna be interesting. But everyone's saying not to overlook this dude, this Caleb Plant.
Okay.
They're saying don't overlook him too much. He might be a surprise. So
I'm looking forward to coming over tomorrow and watching that with you in the evening. What else, Double A, was I gonna tell you about? I have never ever watched a show again as fast, like rewatched, but I finished my second viewing of 2 seasons this week. Last week I watched it once, and this week I watched it again. Ted Lasso. If you guys have not watched Ted Lasso, it's only on the Apple Plus unless you know a good bootleg site, which I won't say that I do. But some people do, and they share that information with each other.
Did your buddy tell you that site?
A little bit of anarchy there, yeah. Fantastic show. I cannot say enough. Jason Sudeikis totally kills it. An amazing cast. So funny and heartfelt. There's so much great stuff about it. I highly recommend Ted Lasso. I think Apple Plus is $5 a month. It is 100% worth it for that one show. I'm sure there's probably some other stuff on there. When season 3 comes out, I will 100% be subscribing because I probably won't want to wait. But yeah, highly suggest... Ted Lasso. If you saw my Halloween costume, obviously it was inspired. Yeah, so that one is one that I would definitely recommend to anybody out there looking for something new to watch and get a hold of. What else? Double? Anything else?
Let me see. Sporting news.
What do you? Yeah, I was about to ask you that. What do you think about Aaron Rodgers not being vaccinated?
Apparently
I'm like, so you're out here sweating and bleeding and coughing on everybody? What a fucking asshole. That's what I say about it. I'm like, okay, say what you guys want about the vaccine, and you can believe what you want, but we here at Just Another Friday Night, we're vaccinated. We talked about it a lot of times. And despite that, we both experienced COVID in our homes. You know, my mom got it, Double A, you got it. I mean, so it's like,
it's not a joke.
I would be super angry at this fucking guy.
I would too, because it's kind of like they were all supposed to, I guess, get it or whatever.
Yeah.
And he said he got it, so they're kind of looking into him now. So
yeah, and I heard he took one of the drugs, I guess that like Joe Rogan had said to take or whatever, and it's like, All right. I mean, I don't like the idea of you playing fast and loose. Okay, so in their world, right, Double A. All right, let's just say, believe what you want or whatever regarding the vaccine or whatever. But let's just say we do know this. We can at least agree that it will make you sick for a less amount of time. So let's just say, and I know you can still get it even if he has it, but you're instead of being, you're sick for fucking that long, you're betraying your fans. You're betraying your fan base. Yeah. Right now, this shit fucked up people's fantasy. I can tell you that.
Oh yeah, as soon as that came out,
I think we were thinking Packers this week, but we both were like,
I was like,
no, going Chiefs on this week.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know.
Let's see. Jeremy says, "Man, Rodgers is a complete asshole for that." I do not disagree with you, Jeremy, 100%, man. So
I was like, golly. So that happened, and they're looking into it, and then the Phoenix Suns owner, they're looking into him.
Yeah.
Racism, misogyny, and all that shit. So. So all that shit's going on right now. So
yeah, man, it's wild.
Then, I guess Odell Beckham was crying too about not wanting to be in Cleveland anymore.
Yeah.
And
I think his dad came out on Twitter and was like, Baker needs to throw my son the ball, blah blah. And I'm like,
man, that dude fucking blows. He blows. That dude's a waste of space. That he's another fucking receiver that opens his mouth too damn much, and doesn't produce shit.
Would you want him in Dallas?
No, because I saw him in New York. That guy's injury prone for one.
Yeah, he is.
He's injury prone, and then two, he talks a lot of shit, but then he can't back it up.
Not only that, but like these receivers, it's got to be super hard to be wide receiver, right? Because you do want the ball, but guess what? We know you're going to go to you, so we're going to double cover you. You know what I mean? Like you almost have to have a double threat, so that way the quarterback has to be spreading the ball out because they're going to know you're going to go to Beckham. You're going to go to Beckham.
I mean, Tom Brady in New England. I mean, golly, it was like he spread it out, and that that's how they were able to win. So
any team, that's how you're able to win. You got to hit the tight end too, and you got to have a running game. You got to have a running game. I mean, it's like I don't know. So I mean. It is kind of weird. I have him on one of my fantasy teams. He's on the bench. He's been on the bench the whole season. I haven't played him because I was just like was seeing he's giving me no points. He sucks. I mean, again, I have him on the bench, but I still check his points in case he starts blowing up. But no,
he hasn't even been playing. I don't think so.
They've got I know the one is hurt right now, but it's Chubb and the other guy, and it's like they're the ones tearing it up. I mean, for Cleveland or whatever, and it's like, and even then they were both hurt that 1 week, so it's like, well, you didn't have either of them or whatever, but it's like they're obviously going with the run, you know what I mean? So but so that's crazy football news. Anything else, Double A? We think that's maybe worthy of speaking about?
Well, the Spurs beat Milwaukee, if that's anything. So
they are the champs, right?
Yeah. Defending champs. So
I know we took a bad loss of the night though.
We took a bad loss against the Lakers, against Milwaukee, against Pacers, and against Mavericks. So man, it's not.
It's been rough. Right?
It's rough. It's gonna be.
How do you feel about the team though? You feel like they're looking like potential?
They're fine, man. But I mean, it's just golly.
Yeah.
It's
hard when you watch highlights like from like our local stuff because it's like it makes us look so good. I'm like, wow, those guys look great. And then I'm like, I need to look at like a site that hates us, like ESPN, in order to get a fair.
I'm like, man, I really want Pop to get that record this year. It's going to be a long fucking way to get there.
Yeah, yeah, man, that's right. And you know what? At his point in his career, can you imagine how it feels? It's probably like, you know what? I just want to kind of hang it up. Like I've got my rings.
Do.
I've got like you peaked.
Yeah,
so you're like,
man,
all right.
Now you're starting back all over again. It's like, damn.
That'd be like if you retired from working and like then you just like had to start over like at the bottom floor. You'd be like, no way, I put in too much time. I'm fucking done. Like, I have to admit, man, I know he was trying to honor that LaMarcus thing, but once LaMarcus left, I'd have been like, I think I might be out too, guys.
Well, man, LaMarcus was supposed to be our guy, though, man, and he just couldn't lead the team for shit.
Total bust, man. That was such a waste, man.
That was.
I thought he could have been the next
big
Tim.
Pickup, you know, so long.
Yeah.
He couldn't do shit for us.
Jeremy says, the Oakland Raider wide receiver that, oh my gosh, I know, that killed the woman and the dog. How awful was that? What would they say how fast he was going, Joe?
I didn't really.
It was like 100 and something. I'm like, what kind of car are you driving that goes that fucking fast? I mean, Joe is in the house and he says, and I'm back.
Joe, what's up, man?
We've been missing episodes, brother. Prayers are with you and your family. I don't want to say your business, but we'll say that. Are you out at the game? I know it is.
I saw his posting, man, that this is his son's last game.
Go Hornets!
Yeah.
Well, he's a senior, and it's his last game at the
stadium.
Hornet Stadium.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to get into the playoffs, and we're going to keep it going.
Checking in from down the street, guys. We're up. Oh, shit.
Yes.
28-0 win, and we're
Yes.
in the playoffs. Nice.
Let's go Hornets.
I think Joe said that this would have been the first time in 10 years that East
Yeah.
Central would be in the playoffs. I was like, damn.
So check this out, something cool, Double A. So, Joe's son wears number 4 on the defense for East Central. And our good fellow local, entrepreneurs, but the charcuterie to go, my cousin Priscilla, her son plays some middle school football. Well, they had the opportunity to play, I think, at the East Central field, and they got to wear like the Hornet uniform. He wears number 4 also, so it was like weird.
Shit.
I was like,
Okay.
oh, that's kind of cool.
Nice.
So yeah,
Nice.
so he plays for the middle school though, but I think he'll probably continue the number 4. The number 4 tradition will carry on. So we hope that will be great. And he says it's going to be the Joe and Lucky Bowl. Is that game right now? That's y'all are there together hanging out. Let me know if you guys are, Joe. If so, tell Luck we said what's up. Interesting. Then now watch this bowl.
Joe says, yeah, Legacy Heritage play in East Central uniform.
Very cool. Yeah. So I believe he'd be like my little cousin, I guess, because it's her son, my cousin's son. Goes to Heritage, I think. I'm not really sure, but yeah.
Joe says, yes, we're here. Luck's daughter is at Clemens.
Oh, very nice. Yes, I saw him dancing. He did the dance with his daughter. That was very cool.
Nice. Yeah.
Luck's got some moves. Nothing on his daughter. She's got the real moves, but he looked pretty good out there. He looked pretty good out there, man. Props to him, man. That's awesome. Stuff like that. I know you guys both got seniors, so we wish them, obviously, best of luck, with graduation and everything like that. I'm sure they got that in the bag. So very cool. Very cool. Joe says, Luck's got some moves. Yeah, I agree. He's like John Goodman, one of the Blues Brothers up there. Shoot, Double A, I think we might be right up at the break almost and ready to get into the topic. So,
Joe says, misses us and glad to be back on.
Man, totally. We miss you too, man. Only thing that's good about the season ending, but it's not because you're going to playoffs, would be that you maybe get to get back on. And let me know if any of those games are on Saturday, man. Would love to go check it out for sure. Support your son doing his thing, man. Very nice boy. I did tell you, got the chance to meet him. It was very cool. And my nephew and Joe's daughter go to the same school, so they were at the East Central parade thing for them for the team.
That's what
it
was
pretty cool.
Yes,
Pretty cool. John Goodman and Coyote Ugly. Yeah, that's a great one. Great pull. A good comic book reference in that movie there.
Oh shit! I've never seen that movie whatsoever.
Yeah, you're not missing that much, though.
I didn't think I was.
Yeah. That one comic book reference was like saved me from like snoozing in the theater. I went with like a girlfriend, like an ex-girlfriend, and she was like dying to go see that movie. And I was like, oh man,
that movie just looked terrible.
It was pretty bad. Good looking girls though.
Yeah, for sure.
There was that.
Sure,
I mean, I needed that to keep it going.
For sure,
but yeah, man. So cool, guys. Well, let's get into the break. I think we kind of buried the lead with what we're talking about tonight. If you didn't get it when the man himself, V, was here. So we'll take a little break here for our audio listeners. For those of you that are joining us Facebook Live, as I always say, we don't go anywhere. We stay here, hang out. We read through your comments, which most of which we've read through in this first 30 minutes already anyway. We wait for the audio to load, then we get right into the topic, and we keep it going. Sorry, it was a little bit of a late start tonight, guys. You know me, I'm always running late, and when Double A is always securing these big guests, I don't know how he does it, but they usually get here late to arrive, right, Double A? All right, guys, so we'll be right back talking some more with you guys here on Just Another Friday Night. I'm CM Chuck. This is Double A. We missed that part.
Yeah.
And the man in the mask earlier, V. The man just simply known as V. So pretty cool. All right, guys, we'll be right back. We'll talk some more with you here tonight on Just Another Friday Night. All right, guys, let's see. Joe's still commenting with us from the game, live from the game. He says we may be celebrating after. Okay, let me know. I will extend this invitation to you, Joe and Lucky, and your families. I think there's going to be some people hanging out at my house tonight, so you both are welcome to come over and record and now watch this celebration. So, yeah. I also want to give a huge congrats. And I personally have a plan for something. I'm going to tell Double A about it. He probably won't be a part of it. But for me, I do want to make a celebratory video to our friend of the show, Andrew Edward Benitez, a.k.a. Nene, hit 1 million followers on TikTok, man.
Fuck.
So the guy's killing the game on TikTok. 1 million freaking followers.
Damn.
I mean, wow. Wow, how many people are on TikTok though?
I don't
Like,
know, but
we're stuck at 65 subscribers on YouTube. You know what I mean? And 300 members in our group. We've got quite a few likes, 300 likes, I think, or maybe more, 400 on our page. But 1 million? Shit. I mean, I'm like, I'd be happy with 1% of that. What is that, 10,000?
damn, wow.
So,
When
the
did he
next,
get that?
sometime last week. Yeah. So the next, and it was pretty fast because he had put that he was like up at like 900,000, and then it was like it went pretty quick. I'm like, what the hell, like 100,000? TikTok, man, I'm telling you. Next time you ask me to twerk, I'm gonna do it. Let's see here. Joe says we need another CM Chuck and Nene vid. Yeah, okay. I might have to do it like with the stitch option on TikTok. I don't really know how all that works, but
Wow.
I'll definitely be doing it for the podcast one, so that would be get that juice. You know what I mean? I want some of that gravy on us. You know what I mean? Like when you're eating Thanksgiving dinner, double A, and the gravy kind of gets onto your corn a little bit, and you're like, oh man, but then you're like, oh, this is actually pretty good, So I think that might be how they came up with the KFC Famous Bowl.
Oh yeah, that bullshit. Yeah.
Double A, you had a good Halloween. You were Cobra Kai. Were you and the wife? Were you just members of Cobra Kai?
Yeah,
like
just
you?
members.
Okay,
Just
okay.
members.
No specifics.
No specific
All right,
number.
all right.
Yeah,
I
was
like
just,
that.
Yeah, man, it was fucking busy over here.
I heard.
Golly.
Yeah. So Halloween is back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, man.
COVID killed it, but now it's back.
Man, it was. I mean, you couldn't get a parking spot here for shit.
Did you have a lot of that traffic, like parents letting them off,
Some of that too, but man, you just could not find parking.
Because you're on a corner too, so
I'm at a corner.
you're like got a flux of like.
Yeah, but man, it was just like from my street down to this street. I mean, it was just car. I mean, it was like, wow.
Cool costumes. Did you see anything stand out?
Oh man, I saw. You know what? The surprising one that I saw a lot of people were doing was the original Red Rangers.
Oh, nice.
The Jason one.
Okay.
I saw a lot of Miles Moraleses.
I did see some Mileses.
I saw a lot of Peter Parker Spider-Mans. Chucky's was the surprise one that I saw.
I saw some Chucky's.
I saw like
Chucky's.
maybe 10 or 11.
Yeah.
And that was people from
That's a
all
lot.
ages.
Yeah.
From little kids to grown-ass people.
Cool.
Being the good guy.
I was going to ask you that. I did notice that a lot. I saw a lot of what I would consider to be like teenage kids, but they were in costume though. They were back out there, and I was like,
man.
oh, I felt like for a while they had gone over to the little
down.
kids.
Yeah.
But now it seemed like maybe they just, since they were like been inside, they're like, hey man, I want to trick or treat.
You know what? Yeah, man. Maybe because last year was still kind of scary.
Yeah,
it was 2020. No one for sure was really like, should we go out there? Yeah. Should we do it? But man,
people were doing the ramps and
that's right.
I went in your neighborhood last year. I know you didn't let your daughter go. Yeah.
No, I didn't let her. I did not let.
No, she didn't want to go. She didn't want to go. Yeah.
But this year she went all out. Her and her cousin, they dressed like Daphne and Velma.
They look fantastic. They look just like it, man. It's so
great.
Cool.
Yeah. So they had a good time. They went all out. They went everywhere. So. Man, it was great. It was great to see everyone there again. We're watching the Cowboy game. We're barbecuing, giving candy away. So I mean, it was a good Sunday night.
Awesome, man.
Yeah,
awesome. Joe says, let's see here. He says,
get the robe.
Get the robe. What?
For the barbecue.
Oh, nice. There you go. Jason says, what's going on this weekend? Double A did mention where at?
At Heroes.
Heroes and Fantasies. Jason will be the grandfather from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original one. That makeup looked cool. I thought that was an old guy. Like I said, I was like, what the fuck? That guy's alive. Yeah. Joe also says Monteviejo was packed.
Okay.
Joe, is that where you go? You don't stay in your own neighborhood. You go to Monteviejo. That's a pretty cool. I have noticed this. You think you're going to win in older neighborhoods, like your brother's neighborhood, but when I trick or treat there, it's dead.
It's dead now.
It's so dead.
That street used to be so alive, and now it's dead.
But when you come to, we live in newer communities, and I know Monteviejo is a newer community.
Yeah.
Younger people live there, and it's their first Halloween, probably their first couple of Halloweens. They want to make it great. They have younger kids, so those are usually awesome. That's something that I learned. I didn't know that. Joe also says I saw a lot of Scream, Squid Game.
I
saw
Squid Games.
I think I saw one. I saw one Squid Game. I think
I thought I would have. No.
Yeah, I wanted to do that, but I was finding the pieces was kind of hard. You know what I mean? But I would have done that. I did Ted Lasso. If you guys didn't know.
Joe says my freshman son and his friends went out as sheeted ghosts.
You know what? I saw a sheeted ghost, and it was really cool. I was like, you know what? That's a solid costume. I was like, all right. You know what I mean? And easy. You know what I mean? So pretty cool. He says, yeah, in-laws live there and they go all out. Okay, very nice.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
You know, there's a house right here in the lakeside part of our community where they build like a front yard haunted house, and they have kids that dress up like
Oh,
a scary
shit.
stuff, and they cross the street back and forth right
shit.
there in that area. Last year, or no, 2 years ago, me and Kalo went down that street. My sister drove the car, and me and him were in the car. We were hopping off at the where the busy areas were. We hopped off there. We got up to the door of the haunted house. I didn't want to go in, but he did. But then when we got to the door, he said no. I was like, I dodged that bullet, and we didn't go in. But it's neat because they have kids like running with the chainsaws and like they're like going all out. So it looked like it was really really back, man. So it was cool to see Halloween back in full effect. Joe also says, one badass spider going. Yes, we saw that one. Very, very cool. That's an awesome costume. My nephew was Dipper Pines from the great show Gravity Falls. You can catch it on Disney Plus. If you haven't seen it, it's a super fun, super entertaining show. Imagine the X-Files for kids.
Okay.
It's great.
Okay.
It's great. I know your daughter would love it. Probably your son too. They probably both would love it. It's a really fun cartoon. Like, I enjoyed watching it. I laughed so much. The characters are really rich. And apparently, like, the creator of that has like a friendship with the creator of Rick and Morty, and they've like dropped little Easter eggs in each other's shows, so it's kind of cool. And it's over already. I think it was only 2 seasons.
Ah, okay.
So, and the guy said he ended it because he'd already told the story. He was like, I didn't keep it going because I'd already told the story I wanted to tell.
I think the last cartoon me and my son were into, like, that was kind of like newer, was Ben 10. And that was it. So that was already a long time
We
ago.
did a little Ben 10 watching, me and my nephew.
Yeah, that was a long time ago already. So
very cool, man. Very cool. Let me check. See here, we're ready to hop back in here. I think we are. What do you think, Double A? We get into it?
yeah, let's get into it.
All right. Joe, I hope you and Lucky will stick around. Maybe you get to listen to a little bit if you can. And would love to hear your thoughts on this topic. I'd also love to hear any of the Friday Night Faithfuls' thoughts on this topic. But just certain people I know probably would be extra into it. But people like Jerry D, I'm sure he's got great opinions on this particular topic. But Patricia's in the house. She says, hey guys, hey Patricia, welcome back. Your second week in a row. We enjoy you being here. Patricia, I've been trying to invite you to our Facebook group. It's called the Friday Night Faithful. If you look it up, that's where we post a lot of our news and things like that. Try to find it on Facebook, and we'll accept you. I did see you like the page. Thank you so much for your like on the page. But I think I can only invite people to the group if we are Facebook friends, me and them. But you can find it on your own, and then once you click to join, we'll get a notification and we accept you right away. So join the Facebook group, the Friday Night Faithful. If you enjoy our conversation from last week, I think you'll enjoy a lot of the things people post in there, things regarding movies, TV, news, updates, and there's a lot of jokes in there too. We put a lot of funny stuff in there, so I enjoy that.
Yeah, you mentioned Jerry real quick, and it was like, man, we had a chat like the other night, me, CM, and Jerry, and it was just kind of like, man, he's got like a whole slate full of stuff that he's just like pushing out. So
I just started listening to his most recent episode. He's kind of doing the Karate Kid and Cobra Kai, and it's funny, right? Because you're like, what, Christmas in the 80s? But he did say, if you think about it, Karate Kid starts right around Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
It's just because they're in California, it looks like not cold.
Yeah.
But then the tournament is like on like December.
It's
Yeah,
December.
Yeah. So Jerry, he hones in on stuff like that. So that's why he's like Christmas in the 80s. I'm like, all right, cool. It's not a Christmas movie, but
But like I said, like we're saying though, Jerry has like a whole slate full of stuff that he's like, yeah, we're doing this one in 2 weeks, or he's gonna be releasing it in 2 weeks, and then oh yeah, we're gonna be talking about that. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I was like, damn.
Well, this man has a Christmas podcast, Totally Rad Christmas, and he works in a Christmas store, so it is definitely his busy season. But he has promised us some time in December, and we definitely want to make that happen. It'll have to be virtual because Jerry is not local to San Antonio.
Like man, I've actually been racking my brain trying to be like, okay, what's something in the 80s Christmassy, and I was like,
well, the truth is, Double A, is that that's kind of his shtick. We should bring him into our world because he probably wants to talk about modern stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I think he'd be great on Masters of the Universe. He'd be great on and guys, I've been on several of Jerry's episodes. We totally missed you on every episode I've been on. We missed you because you would have been great on the Batman '89, Batman Returns. You would have been obviously great on the wrestling one. I would have loved for you to have been in my place in that one because those guys were so good.
But no, I mean, we were chatting it up the other night, and I was throwing some things. I was like, hey, have you talked about, in in the 80s, we had the Von Erichs here, and they used to have like a special. It was called like the Star Wars, and it would always be on Christmas Day. And I was like, man, how cool is that? Like, they would throw this big show for families to come on Christmas Day, and see some action. Like, you actually got to see Ric Flair versus Kerry Von Erich.
That'd be fantastic.
That was fucking cool, man. To just go out and hey, let's go out some wrestling. We already opened presents. Let's go out and watch some wrestling. When it was big. So it was cool. It was a cool thing that the NWA used to do.
Oh man, I loved that. I loved kind of just reading you and him go back and forth about the things you were talking about. I was not that familiar, and I was like, oh shit, look at this. Double A, of course it would be Double A that presents something to. I would call him one of the Christmas podcast kings. He's like has not covered yet and has not talked about. He's like he would love to talk about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I was just kind of like I wouldn't mind doing something like that in December if we could.
Yeah,
we could. But man, that dude, like I say, Jerry is fucking booked.
Yeah, so. And his episode right now, the Karate Kid one, it's him and his brother.
And I want to listen.
It's so
to that
funny.
One.
I'm about halfway through and I'm just laughing because Jerry brings obviously all this wealth of knowledge, and I was thinking, his brother's going to be like they're going to be on par, and it's completely not like that. His brother has the perspective of like how we say sometimes your wife or my girlfriend, it's like fresh eyes. You know what I mean? He's like, man, I didn't know that. I didn't know this. And he's just like a kind of a fair weather fan, but it makes for great conversation. It's so funny. Really great stuff. Oh, Steve is here. Cheers, Steve. Cheers to you, Steve. We're glad you made it, buddy. How's scotch tonight? You've been ignoring beer, Steve. You're making beer very jealous. All that scotch you're drinking. Gotta get some beers back in there. Joe says, you with your jokey jokes. Okay.
And then he said Jerry's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, the thoughts behind a lot of promoters is people will spend on Christmas. Yeah, I mean, why not? It's something cool to do, right? You're always looking for something cool to do with your family on Christmas. And how cool is that?
Well, not even that, but imagine you've got a bunch of nephews or that are into it, and you're like, hey, I can spend $10 a ticket and take my nephews to something they've never seen before.
And like I said,
cool.
At that time, the Von Erichs were just like some of the hottest wrestlers in the country, not just like in Texas, in the country. So I mean, and then you got to see Ric Flair, maybe.
Joe, we had a really interesting early on conversation when you rewatched the first 30 about the state of wrestling right now. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, and about what we might be doing in January, February. Would love to maybe you be a part of that as well. Steve said, a little wine tonight. Oh classy nice, it up, Steve. Steve, you drinking a red? Sweet. What are you drinking there? I don't see you as a rosé man. I'm thinking like a red, a bitter red. It'd probably be where I see you at, Steve. Maybe
dry stuff.
Maybe, yeah. I like a nice sweet red every now and then. So. Patricia says, I'm still watching horror movies and stuff, not ready for Christmas. Hey, nothing wrong with that.
I keep my Halloween stuff on until after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, my girlfriend watches horror all year long. Yeah. We have Shudder, and so she's on Shudder. Yeah, some of it I can't stand, but I'm like, hey, I caught up on Creepshow. You catch the?
No, I haven't.
There's been some good stuff. Who was a recent guest?
I've been watching the Eli Roth Horror of History History of Horror.
Well, I think the last one already came out for Creepshow, and the main star was Michael. Why am I forgetting his name? Merle.
Oh, Michael Rooker.
Yeah. It's my mind just blanked. And there's a really cool Easter egg in there that Creepshow fans will get. Yeah, it's really neat. And that's quite a few cool Easter eggs. They're really Greg Nicotero is really great about sprinkling those in. He is. So it's a really fun tribute. Patricia, do you watch Creepshow on Shudder, the new version of the show? It's pretty good. I would suggest it.
Steve said he's drinking reds, and Joe says white wine spritzer.
That's is that a little Step Brothers? Is that?
Okay. And then Patricia said, "Yeah, that's me, guys. But I'll get into the vibe soon because of the kids." So.
Yeah, you got to, right?
I mean it's still fall. I mean, people want to make it like it's Christmas season already. Mm-hmm. I don't know where the fuck we got all this stuff that right after Halloween's done we go into Christmas. I'm like, golly.
It's the state of the world, man. We live
before it was like you enjoy your summer, then September comes around. That's when you start celebrating fall, and then you don't start celebrating Christmas until after Thanksgiving.
Let me tell you, my birthday has been in September my entire life. Never changed, believe it or not. But you would never see Halloween or costumes in my birthday month in September. Now I could have a full blown Halloween party for my birthday mid-September because all the costumes are out, all the decorations are out. I'm like, but to me it's badass because I love Halloween.
I know,
we decorated for Halloween in August, and we had it up till just recently. We took it down on Halloween night. Okay. So we were like my sister had cobwebs up, pumpkin tablecloth. Like we were like the vampires were up all 3 months. I was like, fuck, I love that shit.
I'm still keeping mine up until November.
Yeah.
So that's when I start keeping mine up.
Okay.
And I take them down.
And our bathroom is decked out in old school horror and horror stuff. I've got like Lost Boys posters, Vampirella. I've got the classic monsters hanging in there. We've got like some gargoyles. So my bathroom is like Halloween all the time. So
Scared her shit out of me.
which I love. Oh yeah, no shit, exactly. See, well, not that little part, just around the bathtub, like the bathtub.
Oh,
to relax.
okay.
Joe says Ned Flanders is drink the wine spritzer.
Okay. Man,
Nice.
I was enjoying that. They're having a Treehouse of Horror marathon from the first one all the way to the new one.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah,
That
I was
fun.
watching some on Disney. I had that on
Well, it was
Disney
on.
Plus in the
They're
background.
actually showing it on TV.
Oh, cool.
On Halloween.
Oh,
So
nice.
that was pretty damn cool.
Nice. Yeah, I put that on in the background at the house on a Halloween day while I was getting ready, and
That was fun.
it was awesome. It's good stuff, man. Anything else? we
Yeah,
see?
Steve says. Steve Kimmerer said, "True, it's the fall, bros. Everyone is so done with summertime. I mean,
Especially
man.
right now. Steve, are you hanging out outside, man? Because it was cool when I left the house, and it felt
in
so
summer,
nice.
Summer in Texas is just fucking killer. It's a killer, and we're just always ready for this cool down.
It's
you
like
know, so
9 months. It feels like
Yeah.
it feels like we have
it
9 months
feels
of
like
summer
it,
here.
man. It really does. It feels like it.
I mean, my uncle used to live in Vermont for like I think 8 years, and he was like, dude, he's like, I was so sick of snow. He's like, every Christmas was white, and he was like, man, he goes, people that there were their friends back there. They take pictures at Thanksgiving and Christmas in shorts and hanging out in chanclas, and
Right.
that he says that their friends are like, we're so jealous. Because, too, it's not insanely hot during that time. It's almost like perfect during
Yeah.
that time for
Yeah.
us. Then we get that February, March, which could be kind of gross sometimes.
It is.
But,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
really bad. Yeah.
yeah. But, guys, without further ado, we want to get right into our topic with you guys tonight. We hope you'll stick around. We hope you have some thoughts, opinions, insights on tonight's topic. And if not, we will give you the opportunity to have some. Obviously, the man himself was here earlier. We buried the lead. Yes, Steve says, always, guys, the fall is great. Definitely agree with you there, Steve. Probably my favorite season, fall. Yeah, like I said, we buried the lead with the man himself earlier here, V. And V is the, he's kind of the topic of tonight, but we'll wait till we start recording and get right into it.
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right, guys, let's do it here. All right, all you audiophiles out there in audio land that did not catch our live stream on Facebook or watching us on YouTube, we took some time there to read through some comments, but like we said, if you saw us visually, you knew that the man himself was here. V for Vendetta, and that is the topic of tonight's show. And the reason why it is the topic of tonight's show is because, well, if you check your calendar, ladies and gents, what is today, Double A?
Today is the 5th of November.
Remember, the 5th of November, guys.
How would you describe today? I mean, how important is it, or how important did it become, CM? Kind of like maybe after the movie came out, because I think that's when it started really gaining traction again.
Yeah, so
Guy Fawkes, if you see, that's who the mask is supposed to be. It's supposed to be Guy Fawkes.
I know we associate with a lot of other things these days, you know what I mean?
It's become a symbol. Like, I don't know if that's what he meant it to be or not, but it has become a symbol of, like, I guess, causing anarchy, causing trouble.
Yeah.
But he blew up Parliament?
Yes.
For real?
Well, he tried to.
Or
He tried to. He was. They
tried.
caught him and then they hung him. So that they showed that at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, and so there's like a kind of like a poem almost. The
Right.
remember the 5th of November.
Mm-hmm. The Gunpowder Treason and Plot, which that's what it was called. The Gunpowder.
Yeah,
The
so-
Gunpowder Plot. And he was trying to blow up the Parliament this is in the UK.
Yeah.
And was unsuccessful or whatever. But again, it was kind of his way of like pushing back against a corrupt government. And so that's why he kind of became a symbol. Well, then in where are my notes? I had notes here. It was in 1982, Alan Moore wrote the comic book called V for Vendetta.
Mm-hmm.
Alan Moore, you guys know that we're both big fans.
You've probably seen his stuff. He's done Watchmen. He's done V for Vendetta. He's done From Hell. That's been adapted. He's done. He wrote League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
That's been made into a movie. So he's done a lot of stuff, but this is one of his more famous works.
Yeah.
Right here, and man, it's so different from his other stuff. So brutal.
Mm-hmm.
So dark.
Yeah.
It's really dark. It's
It
almost
is.
like his version of 1984. If any of you are big on 1984, this is kind of like his homage to it.
Well, it's critically acclaimed. I mean, it's one of those that's considered maybe like if you did a top 100, I mean, it would
It's
definitely
there.
be
It's
in there.
there. Yeah.
It doesn't get as much acclaim as Watchmen,
As
but
Watchmen.
man, You guys, you can read this book or you can watch the movie from '05, and the themes that are present are very, very
They're still here.
similar today.
They're still here.
Where you have people that are being shunned because of their sexual orientation, their color, their
beliefs,
their religious beliefs. It's like,
or just beliefs, period.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what I mean? So there's a lot of that going on. There's a lot of themes that are what will happen when, you allow so many kind of liberties to get taken away by the government, and then what are you left with? You know what I mean? You what sacrifices do you
kind of
make?
like what's kind of happening in Texas when they're saying that women can't get abortions anymore.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So,
and what about also when you have, a culture that's kind of ruled by fear because you're told by the press and the media that is controlled by the government, hey, don't go outside after dark. Don't do this. Don't do that.
How many times you see it on the news, on the 5 o'clock news, the 6 o'clock news, the 10 o'clock news, all these, it's pretty much all bleak. It's almost every news is bad news almost,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
And, it's with COVID and everything like that, obviously we know that there are some people in this country that believe that, it wasn't real and all this, and that it was something, fabricated by the government to be, whatever. And it is good to, in some ways, have people that think that way, because what if that was the case? We've all saw what we experienced with COVID, with just there being shortages on, toilet paper and things like that.
It's still being in effect because now they're saying that more travels can be canceled. They're saying, if you're going to get something from Christmas, you better do it now.
Right.
Because if you wait too long, you're not going to get it. There's not enough truck drivers. There's not enough workers. They're saying it's going to be pretty bleak this year. As far as a lot of shit going on.
You have a cousin in Houston who I follow. We're friends on Facebook, and she was saying there that there's already a shortage on cranberry and turkeys. And I've heard
they
that they
made the announcement today on KSAT, our own San Antonio, saying that aluminum cans, there's a shortage of that.
And there may be a shortage. I heard even on Christmas trees, getting Christmas trees.
Turkeys.
We buy a real tree every year, so
turkeys that you'll get lucky if you get like maybe a 12-pounder. So it's kind of like shit like that that if you read V for Vendetta, you can still kind of like, wow, this is kind of still what's going on.
It very much hits home, and now when it comes to jive turkeys, there's no shortage. I can probably run across a couple.
Yeah, we've run across
these
lot.
jive ass turkeys. But Double A, let's talk about our personal experiences with. Let's start with the book because it came first.
Okay,
written by Alan Moore and drawn by David Lloyd.
David Lloyd, some of the best artwork I've ever seen. I love the artwork on here.
Really great.
Yeah.
So I didn't get to do a full reread of this. I actually own 3 copies of this book. I own the trade paperback in paperback, and then I own a hardcover of the trade paperback, and then I just bought a new trade paperback of a new hardcover.
And that looks great too.
Because I forgot that I had a hardcover already, and I rebought a new one, which is gorgeous.
Honestly, I think if I would have seen it, I think I would have bought it too.
Let me show it here. For our visually watching audience, guys, if you ever want to see what I'm talking about, go check us out on YouTube. You can see what all the visual items we show up. As Jerry D says, visual gimmicks never work on.
And there it is, right there. Remember
the 5th of November. And it's like in red, like a bright lettering. It's beautiful. I haven't even taken it out of the wrapper yet, and I want to open it. Maybe I'll open it today, and I'll say I opened it on the 5th of November. Double A. Okay, so like you said, a lot of people kind of got into the book because of the movie. That's what happened to me. I went backwards. Even though we were already fans of Alan Moore and all that, I went the other way.
Well, it's kind of funny because I was just about to say that you're actually the reason why I read it. Yeah, because out of all...
Did I know that?
For some reason, I don't
learned
know.
this.
For some reason, I don't know. Like, I read Miracle Man, I read Watchmen, but I don't know. For some reason, I didn't...
Swamp Thing?
No.
Not his
But
Swamp Thing run?
No.
Okay.
No, I haven't read that. But, it was like, for some reason, V... Because, there's certain works of his that are always just mentioned. V was one of them.
Right.
And I was like, for some reason, I didn't read it. And then you watched the movie, you read it, you're like, man, you told Will or me, and you're like, man, you got to read it. So I got myself a copy. I read it. I fucking fell in love with it right away. Yeah. It's there's so much horror, visual effects. Anarchy in the book, romance. Wanting to belong. It's a lot of emotions are in this book. The strength through unity through
faith.
Faith. Yeah.
It's scary. It's
very
fucking scary,
when
and
you're
it's
reading
bleak.
it. It's very it's very bleak. Maybe until you get to the end where there's kind of like some hope.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird for an Alan Moore to have like hope at the end. So.
Yeah.
But man, I fell in love with it. I love the idea of what Alan Moore is trying to do with the character. I think V is one of the great comic book characters that doesn't get mentioned enough.
No, I agree.
Man, what a great character he is. And
Yeah.
you really don't find out how much torture he actually goes through, but you can imagine from the little bits that you get that, man, they tortured him pretty good amount. So
Yeah, and the book is dark. And the movie is dark. Now, number one, we're going to come right out and say there are stark differences between the
Big
book
time.
and the movie.
Big
And
time differences.
Purists, fans of the book, don't like that about the movie. But if you try to think about them as their own medium, one is one and one is the other. They're both individually beautiful on their own. And again, think of them like this. Think of them like The Shining, the book, and The Shining, the movie. They're both really good. And I'm stealing that from David Lloyd because I watched an interview with him, and he says, although he thought that League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and From Hell, he said that they were garbage. He was like, they messed up.
Damn.
They messed up Alan Moore's work. He goes, but they didn't do that with V. He says, it's while it is different, he says he used that comparison. He goes, you love Kubrick's The Shining, don't you? But you also love King's book. And although King doesn't like it, we know that, they're still both good. That's how I feel about these two. I love them both.
Yeah, Stephen King has said it's a beautiful car with no engine. That's why he describes The Shining.
Movie. And I could see that because it's you don't really attach to anybody. Like maybe Danny is the only one really but even then it's like you kind of don't because you don't really know him. He's a kid, so you don't really attach to him. You don't identify with Shelley Duvall. It's like
and you're just really scared of the whole movie.
Yeah,
That's
it's
really
just fucking a super creep fest is what it is.
Yeah.
So it's like and with this too, like I love so many aspects of the movie better, but there's a lot of things that are almost identical. The scene with him and the doctor are almost identical. It's pretty much page for page.
And see, I'm kind of one of the ones too. I prefer the book over the movie because I like the more of what he's trying to tell you other than the movie is, honestly. So I'm more of the book V for Vendetta guy than I am the movie.
Okay, so tell me, W, did you go book first then movie?
You know what? I think I read first. Yes,
really?
I did.
Okay.
I read it first, and I think that's what kind of ruined the movie for me. Actually, that I read it first.
Yeah.
I like the V from the comic book more than the movie. He had a purpose in the book more so, I think, because of what was done to him.
Yeah.
So he was a vengeance. In the book.
Yeah.
It wasn't about ideas and symbols. It was about getting back at the people who attacked him and people that were just plain different. Honestly,
it's funny to hear you say that because as we're going to talk about this, like I feel almost a difference. I feel as though in the book he was more about like anti-government and anti them, and in the movie he was more about vengeance.
Well, see, it's kind of weird because like you get a feeling that it's really personal with the three people that he really mainly attacks. Okay, the doctor, the priest, and the
Prothero,
voice,
yeah,
and
the voice of
Fate.
yeah, the voice of Fate, yeah.
What they did to him, whatever they did, they experimented him. They did some pretty much like Nazi Germany stuff on them, on these people, and a lot of them died, and there was only like about 5 of them that kind of like survived the experiments. He was room number 5.
Yeah,
Roman
number 5.
or Roman, V. You really don't say they say they kind of describe what happens to some of the other patients. Some have like some genetic effects that start happening to them.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, it didn't happen with him, but they're saying that he might have had like a psychotic breakdown. But the way they describe the character, he's super fast, super strong. Super.
He's a big guy too.
He's a big guy.
Yeah.
And he's very intelligent, but it's kind of like he knew what they did to him and what they did to people, that's really what pisses him off so much. And he just hates this government that allowed these people to do that to him and to other people around him, like Valerie.
Yeah.
That's a very brutal
I love
story
that
in the
is
story.
my favorite part of both
Golly.
the book and the movie.
Golly.
And again, I will watch that scene randomly throughout the year from the movie, because I mean, like I don't always
And that's
have
one
the
of my favorite
book
parts in the book.
Yeah,
honestly,
and
I love that.
It's another part
of the
that's
book.
pretty identical. So
Yes,
that's
it is.
and again,
Yeah.
but like sometimes I'll just be thinking about that. I quote that scene a lot about God being in the rain, and I'll just watch that scene though, and I'll just like sob. I'm just like, man, it's such a beautiful scene in both. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I mean, I have the book in my bookshelf, but yeah, it's good either way.
Too, because you can get the feeling that even though he's wearing the mask throughout, somehow David Lloyd does a really great job of kind of like V is feeling pain when he's telling Evie the story.
How hard is that to get? That's the Darth Vader effect, right?
Because
you can tell
like,
how
still
he's
means to him that he still kept that fucking the toilet paper, the note, that he still kept it all this time, that it meant something to him. Why he gives the roses, why he grows the roses, it's kind of like golly, it meant something to him, and Alan Moore does a really great job of that. I don't know who you are, but I love you, and I can never hug you. I can never, do this. I can never kiss you, but you just feel so much pain. It's just like, golly. And, that's where V's kind of like getting it from. I want to say maybe that's where he kind of like turns and it's like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to do all this. I'm going to cause anarchy.
And
because they cause anarchy in our lives.
Yeah, I don't remember if Evie specifically tells him in the book. I can't remember right now, but I know in the movie she specifically tells him this is why you're doing it for her, for Valerie, to avenge her.
I don't
because Natalie Portman says it in the movie that there is that scene. Excuse me. We watched it last night, me, Jess, and my sister, and. Right as that part was ending, and my sister's like, "Man, I'm fucking crying, bro." And I was like, "Yeah, that part's super powerful.
It is.
It's
it really is." And like
part,
I said, even in the books, if you go back tonight, and you'll see it's still like very powerful.
Yeah.
I love that part in the novel. I was like waiting to get to that part when I was reading it the other.
Oh, night. I know. That's my absolute favorite part of both the book or the movie.
Yeah.
So and it super stands out, and it's a wonderfully written piece of literature.
It's cool too that he even has like a room kind of like even dedicated to
the Salt Flats movie. Yeah, it's so. I mean, you're right. So some cool stuff because I started to reread. We kind of switched to this subject late because like Double A was like, "Hey, I realized that Friday's gonna be 5th of November."
Like when after Halloween, I flipped my Three Stooges calendar and like November 5th they had Guy Fawkes, and I was like, "Whoa, we love the fucking movie and the book so much." I was kind of like, let's chop it up a little bit.
Yeah, I was V for Halloween one year.
Yeah, that was great.
Nothing to do with what
great.
happened. Back then, my hair was long. I didn't need a V wig because I had my hair. But that's how much I loved it, and I knew that right away I wanted to be that. But some differences, though. Let's talk about it. So one of the things that's cool that I learned. So because I didn't get all the way through my reread, I had to go rely on YouTube like I do sometimes for my research. And I watched some videos, which was cool because I watched one with Alan Moore, which was him just talking about V for Vendetta. I watched one with David Lloyd, which was him being asked about what he thought about the adaptation.
I like when they asked the illustrators.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Me too.
I love hearing like Dave Gibbons.
Yes.
And David Lloyd.
So I agree. And let me tell you something that's really cool. In the Alan Moore one I watched, it's only about 6 minutes. You can guys look it up on YouTube. But he gives all the credit for the Guy Fawkes mask and everything to David Lloyd. He goes, I'd given him the script, and we knew this is where it was going to go, but we couldn't figure out what this guy was going to look like. He goes, and he said that David Lloyd threw it out there like as a joke. He was like, well, what if we put him in a Guy Fawkes mask? And then he goes, once he drew the image and showed it to me, he goes, I loved it. He goes, that's how I wanted V to look.
And it looks great. It looks very striking in the book.
Mm-hmm. And in the comic, he changes masks a couple of times.
Yes, he does.
But and there's some differences. So let's talk a little bit about some of the differences, Double A. So Evie in the comic book is a 16-year-old girl.
Yeah, 16.
And it covers her from maybe about 16 to 17, maybe 16 to... The time frame in the book is a little bit longer.
No, I think it's about... you could be right.
Slightly more. It is showing the dates a lot.
Yes, it does.
I'm in the beginnings of my reread. I'm kind of far along though already. But in the movie, it takes place in about the span of a year. It's exactly a year. And in the very beginning, Evie is trying to prostitute herself because she's...
It's such a bad time. Mm-hmm. Like her mom got sick and she died, and then her dad got captured because he was in a group during his teenage years.
Yeah.
So they executed him. So she was pretty much alone by the age of 12, I believe it is in the book.
Yeah.
and they make her work in like some fucking factory,
Yeah.
you know, and it's just not enough.
She's just not making it.
She's not making it, and she hears some of the other girls that she lives with saying that they kind of prostitute themselves, and they make enough money to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Well, she tries that the first time, so
This isn't the first couple of pages, guys. It's already way darker than the movie. Like, you're like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, ugh, you feel for her. Because, I mean, she's almost going to get raped. And it's by
she is.
who?
Yeah.
Cops.
Yeah, the fingermen.
It is. Yeah, they
the
call
finger.
yeah, because the totalitarian government is called the finger.
Yeah, there's a nose, there's a mouth, the ears.
Yeah.
You know.
And is there eye? I think there's
I think there's eyes too.
Yeah.
Yes.
But anyway, and then the police or the fingers, they're the fingermen. So yeah, she's
Think almost Gestapo. You know, think Nazi Germany.
pretty
almost.
much. That's what you got going on. And she tries to the first guy she asks, like, "Oh, would you like to, you know?"
And she's bumbling bad. Like,
Yeah.
I know in the book, I don't know in the movie how it is, but in the book
Oh.
she bumbles like bad, like real bad.
She bumbles bad in the movie, but it's her. That's not what's going on with her at all. So again, we can kind of just go back and forth, right?
Yeah.
So in the movie, the character Evie is played by Natalie Portman, and she's
great choice.
she's
Great
older.
choice.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful actress.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think about this? They get an American actress, but they could have got an English woman, but they chose her, like, because her English accent
sure.
was great. I thought she did a great English
I mean,
accent.
I don't know. I guess you think of like the British actors doing like American
Us
stuff
all the
here,
time, right? Yeah,
like Walking Dead.
yeah. They're all English. Yeah. She did fantastic. I just was wondering, curious, like, well, they could have cast. You know what I
They
mean?
could have.
So, but anywho,
I mean,
so-
she looks great though.
Oh,
I mean,
she's
I was like,
fantastic.
wow. Yeah.
She's older. She's about 22, and she works
yeah.
for a TV station. And when she goes out this night, she's not going out to prostitute herself. She has a job. She's doing fine. Her parents aren't dead. She's an orphan. But she just happens to be out after curfew. And she gets stopped in an alley because she feels like she's getting followed. And she's like, I'm just trying to get to my uncle's. He's sick or whatever. And then it's like these three fingermen stop her or whatever. And they're going to... It's the same scenario, but she's not doing the illegal thing or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
So it's different, and but she is bumbling bad. And then, of course, this is where we get introduced to the man. You know what I mean? V shows up in the book version. He shows up to save her.
Yeah, he does.
And handles these guys pretty readily.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And the same in the movie. And in the movie, he's played wonderfully by Hugo Weaving. You know him as Elrond from Lord of the Rings. You know him as Agent Smith from The Matrix. And how fantastic Double A that in the movie, and most actors wouldn't agree to this, but he does not show his face in the entire movie. Well, in the beginning, in the Guy Fawkes scene of the movie, it's him. He plays the Guy Fawkes part.
It's kind of funny though, right? Because like it was supposed to be James Purfoy.
Really?
Yeah, which I read, which I was like, man, that would have been so cool because I'm a big fan of his from Rome, Mark Antony. So that would have been really cool. If
Oh,
he
wow,
would've
they
stayed
wanted
on.
him?
Yeah, that would have been really
That's
cool.
right. And then it changed. I do remember hearing about that.
Something happened with I don't know. I think he was complaining about something, but
Small guy,
man, that
though.
would have been so.
Hugo Weaving,
but that
big
still
guy.
would have been cool though to hear
Yeah.
Mark Antony, talking.
I read a lot of great stuff though, and it was just about Hugo Weaving has that voice.
Oh
man.
yeah,
God
it's a
damn,
great
such
voice, great voice.
And
Like,
it's a
when I
great-
was reading
great
the
cast,
book,
too,
I was thinking his voice.
Yes,
His voice was coming into.
I was
my
about
head,
to. I was
so-
going to bring that up. That
Yeah.
when I read it, I hear them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. Even though, and in the book, the Evie character is so much more naive. She's
very
like a
nice.
little
she's
girl.
a 16-year-old girl.
Yeah, and in
With-
this society
with no education that would smarten her up. She's just a very naive little little girl.
She's very happy to be with V when she's with
Yes.
V. Now, Evie in the movie is kind of an independent woman in a way. You know what I mean? Like
okay.
she's got there's some things that she's not too sure about, but she's kind of not happy to be with V. She thinks V is kind of crazy or whatever. Which she asks him, "Are you crazy?" And he says, "They'll probably say I am." You know what I mean? And he is a little bit crazy. You know what I mean? He's a little bit out there. Let me see. I had wrote down that. So this is a really cool thing. In the interview I watched on YouTube with David Lloyd, he says, they ask him, Alan Moore. I didn't like this about the interviewer, that he kind of was asking David Lloyd a lot of Alan Moore questions, and I would have been like, well, fucking ask him, But he was very gracious about it, and he goes, look, I know how he feels now about adaptations. And he goes, back in '84, they were in talks because they had before they sold it to DC, V for Vendetta, because it came out under the Vertigo imprint, the re-release, but they used to own it. They owned it outright, V, and they said that they had got approached to do either a TV show or a movie in
Wow.
'84, and that Alan Moore was all on board. But they said that they both read the scripts and they were like, these scripts sucked. And so he was like, yeah, he goes, the best script he said that he saw was the Wachowski brothers one.
Ah.
So if you guys don't know, the movie version, it was written by the Wachowskis who did The Matrix, and are now going to be doing the new Matrix. They just wrote the script, though. It was directed by somebody else. But, yeah, so he goes, look, David Lloyd said, anyone has the right to change their mind. He goes, so after Alan changed his mind about what he did, and the interview asked him, he's like, well, have you spoke? He goes, the last time we spoke was when the makers of the movie V for Vendetta, the Wachowskis and somebody else asked him, could you please reach out to Alan Moore and ask if we could please keep his name on the movie at least? And he said, he told them, when Alan makes up his mind, that's it. He goes, but I'll ask for you. And then he said, no.
Yeah,
So
Alan Moore is pretty
his-
adamant, saying no, he's not going to put his name on any of the works anymore.
They said after League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, he was like, that's it.
Yeah.
He said that he believes that comic books should not be adapted to movies, which is
and you know what? If we were writers, we'd probably feel the same way, probably with our properties too. We'd probably be like, man, it's so cool to see it on there, but you know what? This isn't my vision whatsoever. It's somebody else,
I have to say, I've been thinking about this because we keep having this conversation, right? The creators, right? Who's the creator, right? And it made me think about it. I thought about it today, and I said, you know what? A property like this that's created by a writer and an artist, that'd be like a mom and dad fighting over who's the creator of the kid. It's 50-50. Sure, the mom carries them for 9 months or whatever, but the dad still inputs. You know what I mean?
Stan Lee, for seeing the Marvel Cinematic Universe, he's probably like, wow, this is what I've always wanted. He doesn't give a shit if they change Spider-Man or not. He's like, finally, Marvel's there.
Yeah.
This was Stan Lee's ultimate vision, was for Marvel to be on the big screen and to blow Superman and Batman away, and just to be the number one. But then when you got little things like this, like Watchmen, like V for Vendetta, you're gonna feel more personal about it. You're gonna be like, well, shit, that's not what my story's about at all.
Well, not only that, but these books by Alan Moore, they're acclaimed.
Yes.
They're acclaimed as pieces of regular literature, not comic books. They're just
Watchmen is usually voted as one of the best novels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I know that V for Vendetta is like if you are doing just trade paperbacks, graphic novels, it's on those lists too. So Alan Moore has so many acclaimed writings. It's kind of hard to, be like feel one way or the other. But see, and David Lloyd did say, he said there's things that are different, and he said, but I feel as though it did a great job if you treat it as its own. And he said he liked that with it being based on.
For David Lloyd, he's probably just like, man, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
our work is being adapted. But for Alan Moore, it's probably just like,
right,
man, they just took my story, but then they changed the whole idea of it.
Sure.
It's like, that's not what I wanted at all. You know? So,
but imagine for David Lloyd, where it's like see
David Lloyd,
you see Hugo Weaving walk out in that costume, you're like, whoa, that's fucking pretty badass.
Yeah, for him, just, like you said, a joke that was just kind of like, how about we just do this, and then, it's become so iconic, and then you see it on the big screen, you're just like, wow. I'm sure the artist feels different than the writer does, honestly. I'm sure the artist is just up there seeing, like, the stuff, and it's like, wow, my stuff is coming alive.
But that makes me think, Double A, right? Because, like, David Lloyd and Alan Moore, they're the parents of this property, V for Vendetta, right? But it'd be like a mom and dad that they have a kid, and that the dad is super athletic and the mom is super smart, but the kid doesn't come out that brainy, but he's a really great athlete. It's like, is the mom less proud? I'm like, that's still your kid, right? I mean, like, I don't know. Sometimes it kind of pisses me off, the Alan Moore shit, because I'm like, dude, really? Like, why are you such a... I don't know. I wouldn't want to see my work fucked up either.
But you can get it, though. I mean, look, like we said with The Shining, it's such a great fucking movie, but for Stephen King, it's such a pain to look at.
I'm sure, yeah.
For him, that's like, no, that's not what I want.
You know what, though? But that TV version he did is not that enjoyable.
No, but you know what? It's probably closer to his book.
Yeah.
Steven Weber is probably more of a closer Jack Torrance than Jack Nicholson is. He says when he sees Jack Nicholson, he's like, I mean, this motherfucker's crazy already. I'm like...
But that's what I mean, though. That, like I enjoy The Shining, the movie, as the movie, but I enjoy The Shining, the book, as a book.
Writer, though, you're probably just like, man, this is not my fucking.
Well, see, that makes me think Alan Moore is right. Maybe things shouldn't be adapted because they get fucked up. You know what I mean?
But then you get so many more fans of the book, though. You know, of course they're not seeing it that way. But then you bring in so many different fans for V for Vendetta that you're
sure.
like,
David Lloyd said that. He goes, let's be honest. The people that are going back to buy the book now that gave it a resurgence, it's because of the movie.
Because of the movie.
You know, sure. You remember when you put the Wachowski's name on there? Say what you want. It looks badass.
No, it is. You know, like whenever I see their names, I'm just like, oh crap! I can't wait to see that one. You know, when they said New Matrix, I was like, okay, cool, I'm there.
Yeah.
You know, so
and the actiony parts of the movie V for Vendetta are fucking dope. Like it's like, damn, that's badass, man. Like
what I heard,
he's fucking those guys up.
Some of the stuff that I read is that he was pissed because they made it more like an American, kind of like the political scene that was going on in America.
Yeah, they kind of looked at
that time
the Bush administration at the time. Yeah,
he says I agree, he wished he would have just been like, if you're gonna do that, then just make that story. You know?
Yeah. I get it.
It's like we said, we could have this
sure.
whole episode about the creator owned stuff.
Yeah.
All day, you know. It's just you gotta look at it from that point of view. You're just like, this is a creator. I wrote this, but then when I'm seeing this up there, it says V for Vendetta. Right. But this is not my fucking story.
You know, because here's another thing too, Double A. Like I also watched some videos that were like quick breakdowns of the book that focus only on the book because again I didn't have a full time to reread it.
Yeah.
But I did skim through it, and I remember being like, man, I don't remember a lot of this and a lot of these.
Because it's not.
There's a lot of there, and you know I'm kind of a fan of this. Sometimes I'm like, well, sure. Like maybe he said that would have been great if they would have got that show maybe back in '84. But I'm like, you know, they made a 2-hour movie. Maybe
see, that's what I mean. 2-hour movie, you can't bring in everything from the book, though.
Right?
And I think for someone like Alan Moore, that's really hard for him to understand that you can't really do.
Sure.
That. Now, if you're doing the Marvel way, where you're doing a 1 hour show. Okay, that's perfect. V for Vendetta would be perfect for a miniseries.
Yeah. Oh my God, that'd be perfect. Awesome.
You know,
and you know what? It's been a couple of years. It's probably ripe for remake. I mean, I'm down to see it.
For a 2-hour movie, you can't fit everything in here.
But you know, sometimes there's something that you say, Double A, that I love when you say it because it's like my favorite thing that you say is you said, "Did it capture the essence?"
Yeah.
And I do feel as though that the essence of V is there, the essence of Evie is there, and those are your two primary characters.
Yeah.
I mean, but now there are major differences because like in the book it's not Sutler, it's whatever his name is.
It's
Adam something or whatever.
Adam something.
He's kind of more like kind of crazy and like he's with that machine a lot and he's
in the book
and he's like talking about he's like a virgin, he never got with a woman or whatever. Whereas in the movie that guy's very like Hitler-ish, like he's fucking like in fact it reminded me a lot of and I want to talk about it a little bit, but one of the movies you got me to watch, Equilibrium, which is another kind of movie that focuses on that.
I'm kind of glad they got what's his name? What's the actor? His name, real quick.
The plays Sutler?
Yeah.
Oh, the plays V?
Yeah.
Hugo
No. The Sutler.
I have to look it up. I don't know.
Anyways, he was the main character for 1984, the movie.
Oh, really?
So that was kind of cool to see him on the opposite end of that Big Brother.
Interesting. We're right up against our next break, guys. We see there's some comments. We're talking all things V for Vendetta right now on the 5th of November. We'll be right back. Guys, if you're watching with us on Facebook Live, you know we didn't go anywhere. We'd like to read your comments right now and inviting you to join the conversation. Tell us what you think about V for Vendetta. Do you like the movie? Do you like the graphic novel? Have you not read the graphic novel? Have you not seen the movie? We will tell you both to watch and read both. Those are both excellent.
And Steve right away says Anarchy.
Mm-hmm. And, you know what I learned about Anarchy? And I should say this when we're recording, but Anarchy is not the absence of rules. It's the absence of rulers.
Yeah.
That's what anarchy means.
And
people get it confused. They think that V wants chaos. No. You don't want that. That would be horrible. People would be breaking into your house, fucking raping and killing or whatever. No. It's saying don't allow yourself to be ruled by anyone.
I can see that.
Yeah. And Alan Moore was in his interview, he was kind of very much on that, saying like, no. What I'm saying is that like we let ourselves get spoon-fed and done all this stuff. You know what?
Because he was under the Margaret Thatcher reign.
Yeah,
which they always say it's like the Ronald Reagan on the other side of the world. For Ronald Reagan for all the good things that he was always trying to do, would always leave out all the little people.
Right.
So there you go.
And with was Margaret Thatcher the one behind they were doing like they were giving like the homosexuals like that. They were trying to cure them or whatever.
I mean, even
that whole shit is awful.
Even
man.
like Iron Maiden has like a cover of like someone like of Eddie killing Margaret Thatcher. I mean, she was just like I guess bad news for a lot of people in the UK. So.
And in the movie, they kind of do that one thing where they have the painting of Sutler, but he's in the Queen outfit and says "God save the Queen." The one guy, fuck, I forget his name in the movie. Gordon something whatever, but he's like her producer.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
yes, yes.
And
His
he
name
has
is
a
Gordon.
he has
Yeah.
a collection of things or whatever, and he's like, I keep these things because they're beautiful, and he's like, I don't, and he's a gay man, but he has to live in the closet.
Again, we have to talk about this too, because in the book, the Gordon character is completely different.
Way different.
Than
Way
what,
different.
What CM is just describing right now.
But let's get to the comments here.
Yeah, Joe said, sorry guys, son got an interception.
Oh yes,
Game
nice,
over,
Joe.
had to go.
Yes, very
go.
nice. Big play. Big play. Awesome, bro. That's great to hear, man.
Way to go. And then Steve says, solid, bros. And Jeremy says, man, the book was insane. I can't even name my favorite part. All of it is just incredible. Had me on the edge of the seat every step of the way. You know, and I felt that way too when I was rereading it. At first, I was kind of like, man, it's a little slow. A little bit.
The beginning is slow. Yeah.
But that, man, once I started getting through it and once I started remembering, I was kind of like, man, I was just like flipping through it like quick. I was just like, oh shit, you know, like here we go. You know?
I think they say even he has quoted that he kind of fumbled around in the beginning because he wasn't really. I don't know if he wasn't sure where he was going with it or what. But
at that time though, like he was pretty slow with like a lot of the releases. Like I know Miracle Man took forever for it to come out. So
and I know it's hard too sometimes when you have an idea, like maybe you know where you want to go, but sometimes it's like how do I get there?
How do I get there?
Right? How do I get there? Yeah, that happens a lot.
Yeah.
So, I want to tell you a little bit more about Jeremy's comment, but I want to be recording when we do it. So great comments, guys. Keep them coming. Tell us what you think about all this stuff. Again,
badass Joe.
Many deep themes in there. And yeah, Joe, that is amazing, man. I hope to catch that on some football highlights tonight. Your son's interception, super awesome, man. But we're gonna start the recording up again to keep the conversation going, guys. V for Vendetta tonight is the night to talk about it, the 5th of November. So stick around, comment, tell us what you think. About that and anything else too that comes to your mind. All right, guys, back super quick from that while we waited, letting our audio load. Read through a few comments. Again, if you want to ever see the unabridged, uncut version of the show, hear the thoughts of the Friday Night Faithful, you all, the listening audience and watching audience, if you're watching on YouTube, go to Facebook, watch the video version. There you see everything, the visual things that we show, what we're wearing. Sometimes when we get weird guests, the background, the wonderful background here in AA Pod Lab. Excuse me. So during the break, during the comments, Jeremy, Friday Nighter Jeremy, who was on the show last weekend as our youngest guest we've ever had. Well, unless you count my nephew, who's kind of popped in and out on some episodes. He might be the very youngest. But anyway, for a full episode, anyway, Jeremy was probably the youngest. About 3-4 weeks ago, he sent me a picture, and it's of V for Vendetta.
Oh, okay.
And I said, oh, hey. I said, you picked that up? He goes, yeah, I went to the store to get some anime. They didn't have what I wanted and ended up picking up this. He said, I figured you'd have read it. I said, I own 3 copies of that book. He was like, oh, wow. And then I said, man, you're getting into some super great stuff. I said, I'm going to tell you right now, it can be kind of a tough read. I said, but I think it's meant to be reread. And every time you reread it, you'll take away different stuff. It's just like Watchmen. Like if you read Watchmen one time, you might be like, huh? But it's you got to read Watchmen like over and over again, and then you're like, oh.
It depends, because man, Watchmen got me. It sucked me in pretty good.
Yeah, but there's so much though, right? Like, and you can go read Watchmen right now. Like I'll flip through Watchmen sometimes and be like, I don't fucking remember this, and I'm like, wow, it's like a whole nother like layer to it, you know? Like that's how Alan Moore writes. It's so deep. Yeah. So it's like very, very interesting. So I told Jeremy, I was like, wow, that's like to me, that's like you're putting a foot like in a very deep pool. Like that's very cool. Yeah. And so I was like, man, you're gonna love it. Let me know your thoughts. Well, he never got back to me. So today, being that we're gonna do it, I was like, hey, what were your thoughts? And he pretty much reiterated that right there. Where
and it's awesome that he got sucked in. He was like, man, it was badass. He was on the edge of his seat, and like I said, that's the way it kind of makes you feel. It's kind of like, damn, you know, it's scary. Like you feel like you're being looked at everywhere. So kind of like going back to it, there was a big war that happened. Africa got destroyed. The United States got destroyed.
Yeah.
The United Kingdom is kind of being held together. Now, while it was being held together, there's so much chaos, so much anarchy. All these kind of like hate groups kind of all got together, led by one guy, you know, and they dominated. They got control of the UK.
What's it called?
Norse Fire.
Norse Fire, yeah, Norse Fire.
And so Yeah, and so
Spooky name, right? Like,
yeah,
okay.
they set up the whole government. It's kind of like a Stalin or kind of a Hitler.
Mm-hmm.
They created like the eyes, the ear, nose, mouth, everything. Everything that you do is being watched. Everything that you say is being monitored. Everything. They start rounding up the usual. They get the black people. They get the homosexuals. They get people that were in these groups against all these kind of like different agendas. They put them on camps, everything. And it's just brutal. It's a brutal style. Even like people, even white people that were kind of like even had, that were strongly against fascism.
Yeah,
if you're a sympathizer,
if you're a sympathizer or whatever, that's again, like Double A's been saying, like how about the Nazis? It's like even if you were German, but you followed all this. If you housed Jews, you were like you're just as bad.
Or you're a Jew born German,
right?
It didn't matter. You're still trash. That's the way these people were.
And the one of the aspects that Alan Moore really focuses on in the book, and I think the movie does do a good job of displaying it as well, is that the point is that it's like the government is ruling you by fear. They take control of the media, complete control.
Like I said, everything is watching you. There's all eyes, which kind of like what happened during the Bush administration when everybody was being looked at.
Yeah,
remember everything was being monitored.
It was what was it? The Patriot Act.
Patriot Act. Yes,
they can tap your phone whenever.
Yes.
And so you have to ask yourself this, right? When the people that are in control and they want to rule you with fear are the ones feeding you the information. They can tell you whatever. So in the movie, it's different. In the movie, it's not this nuclear war that did happen. And of course, in the book, they're telling you like, you want to fucking be like America? You want to get blown up like fucking Africa got blown up? Now in the book, in the movie, it's different. In the movie, it's like three like well, in a sense, it's kind of fucked up because it's like sicknesses. People get sick. There's the one at Three Rivers.
Which they do mention in the book. It's called the St. Mary's virus.
And then the St. Mary's virus,
which happens in the book, and that's what happens to Evie's mother. She dies from that. But it was like a government virus.
Oh yeah,
it was a government virus that got released.
Well, see, and then like in the movie, kind of the subplot is that like these detectives who were in the book as well. Finch is the main one. Okay, he doesn't do the LSD and shit like he does in the book. But in this one, he's kind of like slowly uncovering this. And V is like at one point, and that might be the other scene where he kind of briefly shows his face, but he's covered up. V because he goes in disguise as a man. And he pretty much tells him, he's like, why don't you look into these places, these facilities, and find out. And he's mentioning the facility he was at, experimented on Lark Hill. Yeah. But he's also telling them this. And then, you have the guy, and it's him and his partner, and he's proposing, Finch is proposing to his partner. He's like, what if the government created this virus? And what if, instead of releasing it on their enemies, they said, let's release it on our own people, and then we, like, firm our grip. Yeah, with fear. And you're like, holy fuck. So, like, that side plot is there or whatever, and you're like, it's super fucked up or whatever. Like you're just like, holy shit. They think they in the book. I don't know how many they say in the book, but in the movie they
100,000.
Yeah, in the movie they say 100,000. It's 100,000 people. So you're like, that your own government
and they kind of tested at this one site.
Mm-hmm.
It's just this one site,
So and I think in the movie it's like there's like a water treatment plant, then there's like the Three Rivers thing, and then
they didn't want to put it in the water because they were afraid that it was gonna, or they didn't want to do it. I forgot what it was. They did it in the water. Yeah, I believe it was. I forgot why they did it.
But again, in either format, the point is that like your own fucking government killed people with the goal of, we're going to rule over you with this fear. Now you're afraid. Now you need us, right? Because then what do? They come out with the cure. And I'm not going to lie, as I was rereading it and rewatching it, I was like, ooh, it feels kind of COVID-y. Like, I was like,
well, it's kind of funny, though, because that's what they kind of use in the Watchmen sequel. Remember? That's what Adrian does. Yeah. To kind of keep that fear going, he has the squids like dropping on certain areas. So more just out of the blue.
Yeah, more plays with those subject. I mean, that's from the Watchmen sequel, but I mean, like,
but still, it's kind of funny, right, that they did that in both.
Well, even the ideals of it are in there, where that's what Vight's doing. Vight's like, let me drop the squid in the Watchmen by fear, and it's true. It is kind of true, or whatever. You know what I mean? Because in the book, Prothero, I think, or is it in the book or the movie? It's one of those, but Prothero is like a big time pharmaceutical. He's like a millionaire in the movie.
That might be in the movie.
Yeah, because they uncover that
in the book. All he is that he was a guardian and he was the voice of fate.
The voice of fate. Yeah. So in the movie, they do focus on the fact that they're like the pharmaceutical company that came out with the cure to the virus, they show who the owners were, and it's all the heads of the thing, the government.
Okay.
You're like, oh man,
Okay.
like these are the
See,
motherfuckers that got rich.
They didn't really focus on that. I don't believe. He's like his first target in the book, but all it says that he's just the voice of fate. Apparently he has his voice that's just like so soothing or whatever, and it makes everyone like listen and obey and everything.
And that's different in the movie, right? Because he's like, I'm a God-fearing Englishman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's like, all shouting, and it's a great scene.
The way that like the doctor describes him in her diary, it probably is that dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. but as the voice of fate, though, man, he's totally different. He has everyone on the edge of their seat. So
yeah, and I think what is he called in the movie? It's something. It's very similar. Like it's not the voice of fate. It's the voice of.
In the book, that's what it is. It's the voice of fate.
Like that, yeah. But again, separate mediums, but again, equally great. Let me see what else I had wrote down here. Oh, so some stuff that's completely missing from the movie, which I think is really cool, that's in the book. But like on page 54 of the trade, anyway, he makes a sympathy for the devil reference when he's with the priest. He says, shit, I forget what he says, but it's right out of one of the lines from Sympathy for the Devil. Go ahead, Dolly. Page 54. I love it so much, and I was wondering. I know you picked it up. I know you're a Stones fan and stuff like that. But just that he. So there's this priest that's again formerly all these people. They were at the facility where V was being experimented
Please
on.
allow me to introduce myself.
I'm a man of wealth and taste. Yeah, and he's got the horns on, right?
Yes, actually, I was going to actually tell you that. I was like, did they do that on purpose? Because I was like, man, he looks like a devil right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's not the only time he makes a reference to him being a devil. Go to page 60 a little bit later, and he says this famous line, which I know that you'll know. I am the devil, and I'm here to do the devil's work. Yeah.
Yes, the fucking Manson murders.
Which Finch references. He says, that's from 20 years ago.
Yeah, they say it's from a murder, an American murder.
American murder.
If you've seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, he says that, and that's actually the real line that
he
Tex
said.
uses.
Tex uses,
that the murderer Tex, he says that to Sharon Tate's partner.
Which Brad Pitt had something to say about it. It was like some stupid shit like that. Right?
Yeah. He was like,
because. Tarantino's view on it was obviously these guys were fucking asshole murderers. You know what I mean? They killed a pregnant woman in a very brutal way. But I was
actually, you know what? When I read that back and I read that line, I was like, holy shit, he actually has that line in there.
Now,
wow.
The way V uses it is like it's against this fucking.
So this
pedophile,
he's a pedophile priest.
What is he? Is he a priest? He's like higher up. He's like a bishop or some shit, right?
Yeah, and the bishop. Well, anyways, he's like some religious figure, but it's kind of funny because like CM said he wrote this in the '80s, and then all this shit kind of started coming out, a few years ago about all the priests and everything. So it's kind of funny,
And those scenes are pretty similar too, for the most part, in the book, because like at first you see this priest, right? He's like the highest priest in the land, or whatever.
Highly revered.
Yeah, and then you see him talking, and you see in both. I'm gonna tell you, it's kind of the same. They're like, oh. There must have been a mix-up at the agency. They got you a girl, but she's a little bit older than you think. And he's like all down, like what? Like older? Like well, how old? And in the book. I think in both he says it. It's in the book where they go, oh, we think she's like 15, and he's like 15, like he's all down. And you're like, what the fuck, gross? Like how much younger? Well, then in the book and in the movie, it's Evie. V uses Evie. He asked her to help him.
Even in the book, I mean, Evie's only like 16 at this point.
Yeah,
anyway,
and of course he sees her in the book, and he is all like, "Oh, you're lovely, you're fine."
Yeah, they dress her up like where she doesn't look 16.
Yeah, like pigtails and like too much makeup.
Like she looks like maybe 11. So
now the difference is that she's willing in both or whatever, but in the movie version. She tells him, because she thinks he's a disrespected guy, and she's like, hey, look, I need to tell you that I've been captured by V, and he's coming to get you tonight. And he's like, ooh, like we're playing a game, and blah, blah. He's like,
that doesn't happen at all in the book.
No, because in that one...
In the book, she's being used as bait, pretty much. And she's kind of like just trying to, like,
keep him off of her.
Keep him busy.
Yeah, because he's...
until V comes in.
Getting really gropey and shit, yeah.
Yeah, so he starts like reading sermons in the book, at least. He starts kind of reading sermons, and then all of a sudden, he takes her to his bedroom, and he's like... After he does like his little sermons, then he tells her like, "Okay, take off your clothes,
get naked." Yeah.
So
and she's like, "What?" Like,
and she hits him.
because she doesn't fully understand, like in the book, like what are you doing? Like I thought you're this like upstanding guy or whatever. I don't think she knows she's being used as bait.
No, and even like the people like monitoring the priest's room or the bishop's room, they're like, oh
Yeah.
great, it's his fucking night.
Yeah, he's having a good time, and that's in the movie too, or whatever. Now again, like I said, the difference in the movie is that Evie thinks that she's gonna like tell this guy like, hey, like get me out of here, like I don't want to be this guy's prisoner, because again, remember in the movie she's kind of there against her will a little bit. Which completely backfires on her here with this priest because, V does come to kill him, obviously. Excuse me. And she does get away, and we'll get into that part from the movie or whatever. But again, a difference, you know what I mean? But again, if you were comparing the scenes and the thing, you could probably do shot for shot, and it's pretty interesting. And obviously, this guy's number one, V's killing him for vengeance for what the fucker did at the fucking camp, but he's a sick motherfucker that deserves to die anyway. So you're like,
but the way V kind of like does, like when they do an autopsy, like there's like these wounds that he has, and like first off, he feeds him like a cyanide wafer.
Yeah,
and then,
like in the book, it's like
in the book,
the communion wafer.
Yeah, but then they're saying like he has like a puncture hole that's not like from a knife. It's like if he like got like his hand,
his fingers, and shoved it in. Yeah.
Shoved it, but it was like so much force. They're saying that it was like you have to be immensely strong to do this kind of like this puncture wound. You know? And it's just like wow.
People forget that it's like you're soft at some parts, but at other parts you're like you have like a breastbone and all
because,
that.
Like again, you're getting little hints that V is not like your average normal person, that he's like slightly faster, slightly stronger than a normal person. Plus, he probably has all that rage that's just beneath the mask,
And also, too, there's something that like, and this is something AA that like I've kind of wanted. I want to read a comic that addresses this, but like, okay, we all talk about like Batman and Nightwing, Catboy. But I would kind of want to read an inner monologue, even of someone like V, where like in the moment when you're already doing the deal, you know what I mean? Like, I want to hear the monologue of like when Cap's like, yeah, when I finally get a hold of him and I've got him, I'm squeezing him, you know what I mean? Or like when my hand lands on his chin and it's like it cracks. Garth Ennis did a great job in one of the Punisher runs where he talked about, he's like, I feel the way the gun like butts up against my shoulder, and each time I know it's like there's like another one down, and he like it's a very kind of visceral thought process, because there's got to be a moment where Batman's cracking heads and he's like,
for sure with Batman,
I'm beating the shit out of this son of a bitch now that deserves it, you know.
But V, I don't know. He seems so focused on what he wants to do. Like he has these individuals that he knows are bad people. They did bad stuff. And I don't think he's thinking that at all. I don't even know if he is thinking, honestly. I think he's just doing.
Yeah.
He's almost kind of like the Dark Knight Joker. He's just doing.
That's interesting. That's an interesting comparison.
Yeah,
wow,
he's just
like
doing
that.
it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I don't think he's thinking, oh man, this fuck you, priest. How does this feel? I think he's just he knows what he's gonna do with this guy. And that's it. He's just not thinking about the other stuff,
That's very interesting. Because it's kind of funny. Because I was going to tell you, I kind of thought when he wears that vaudeville mask, it looked like the Joker.
Like the Joker.
Yeah, I thought that. And there you go, two great guys, right? I mean, Alan Moore and Frank Miller. You're talking comic books. You're talking two of the icons, and then two iconic books. And the another book that would be on that list if we said of greatest ever graphic novels, The Dark Knight Returns would definitely be on there. But the deaths are different because Prothero's death is different in the movie.
Oh, okay. So he doesn't actually die in the book.
That's right. He goes crazy. He drives him crazy.
Because he takes him to Lark Hill, and apparently this dude has like a fucking
doll collection. Yeah.
That's like, I guess, like priceless or whatever.
Yeah.
And V burns them like the way they used to burn the people
in the
Lark
camps.
Hill.
Yeah.
And apparently that drives him fucking insane. It just breaks him, and all he's saying is, Mama, Mama. And then he says, Room 5. Room 5, and he recognizes who V is right away. Now, he doesn't say it, though. That's the thing about this. They always keep his mystery. They keep the mystery of who V or who he was, whatever he was.
Yeah.
It's just, you never really find out who the hell V was before he became V.
Yeah.
And they kind of keep that. And I kind of like that.
I like that, too.
I like that.
And it's kind of like that in the movie too. They kind of they're showing you little clips with each one, but it's very
But
very
that
little.
scene though, when he
very
does
little.
finally just make his break, it's
Oh,
very
yeah.
intense. I almost thought Usual Suspects almost.
Yeah.
When he tells him that
Kaiser
Kaiser
Soze,
Soze,
yeah.
yeah.
A cool thing in the book that you'll learn about that's not in the movie is that you learn that there's this fire at the Lark Hill facility,
Yeah.
but you don't know how it happened
But it's
in the
so
movie.
cool in the book how he does it.
Yeah.
That's like
Yeah.
when I was reading that, I was like, okay, I forgot where this is going, and then when that happens, it's like, shit, that's right.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
See, like I love how they're companions in that sense.
Yeah.
Because to me, I'm like, oh, if you love the movie, but you're like, well, what happened? There was a fire, but they don't ever really address it. But earlier in the movie, they say, oh, the bombs that blew up the Bailey, the old Bailey, were made with like things you could buy over the counter, household stuff.
So like in the book, like almost all the patients, like 1 through 4, had died, and like he's the only one that's kind of left. So they let him kind of like do some outdoor activities. They let him do gardening. He does like a great job. So he starts like saying, "Hey, can you order more of this? Can you order more of that? Can you order more of this?" And he starts kind of like putting it in his room, and it stinks so bad. But they're kind of like they want to see where it's going. They want to see where this is leading. Well, it turns out that he made mustard gas.
So
when he finally lets it out, everyone's like burning, everyone's coughing, everyone's suffocating. And there's this great scene where the doctor, Delia, I think her name is Delia.
Yeah, Delia.
She mentions that, he comes out and, like, you just see this figure. It's like a buff figure. You don't see what he looks like. You don't see nothing.
He's
But
in
you just see
silhouette.
you see his silhouette in the fire, and she's just like, I can feel him, like, just looking
at
into my
me.
soul.
Yeah.
Just like, and it's such a great scene. It's such a great build-up. Because you're just like, man, you just don't know if this guy's crazy or not. But you find out that he's just focused. Again, it's kind of like the Joker from, The Dark Knight.
Mm-hmm.
He's so focused, the Heath Ledger Joker.
Yeah.
He's so fucking focused. You're thinking he's crazy the whole time in the movie, and he's not.
Yeah.
He's like so much smarter than you are. He's always a step ahead of you. And that's what I love about this V character.
Yes.
He's just so
agree.
fucking one step ahead of you that you don't even know.
And like laser focus. Now the story unfolds slightly differently because they don't give you so much detail in the movie, but it's cool because the imagery is there where they kind of show him set against the fire. This again the figure and in their moments of death, the people they know that it's him. They're like, it's you, you're him. And then you have this great scene when he gets to the doctor in the movie where you don't have her saying the part where he sees her and sees her. You have him kind of raise his arms and let out this just scream where he's like, oh, and it's like you're like, oh shit, like it's pretty badass. And again, like to move quickly, double to the doctor scene, when he gets to the doctor, it's really cool. Because again, that in the movie and that in the book is almost page for page, except for the last panel, which is it's and this is what I mean about the separate mediums, but it's still beautiful. It's beautiful in both. In the book, the last thing she says to him is she says, "Can I see your face one more time?" Mm-hmm. And you just see him from the back lift up his mask.
Yeah.
And then she goes, and she says, "You're beautiful."
Which is funny because if you read in the book, like when she first sees him, like when Detective Finch is reading it, she's like, man, he's ugly.
Yeah.
Like she mentions like how he looks like weird, he's ugly and everything. Yeah. So when I kind of read that, and then when I read that, oh, you look beautiful, I was kind of like laughing, like, okay, she became like, I guess, this different person after that whole ordeal. You know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny
because she's one of the people that says when she goes, "You're here to kill me," and he goes, he goes, "Yes," and she goes, "Thank God." Like she's ready to die
because she knows what a bad shit she did.
Yeah,
she's responsible for a lot of debts.
Oh yeah,
that
and doing horrible shit too.
And she thought it was great that she was able to do all these experiments on people, because she was saying that when you do it on bunnies, when you do it on animals, it just doesn't get results.
It's not the same. Yeah,
so she was super excited to get this assignment and super excited to see the results of what was going to happen. Yeah.
So in the movie, the line is different because she doesn't ask to see his face. Instead, she says, "Would it be too late to apologize?" And he says, "No, never. Like it's never too late." And then she's like, "I'm sorry." She does say she apologizes, whatever. And he's he's okay with it. He's already killed her. He already poisoned her, so it's like she's already gonna die. And it's kind of touching because she says, "Will there be pain?" And he says, "No, there'll be no pain." Like, you know, you just. And she goes, "Thank you for that."
So
and
it's
then
kind
she
of
just
not,
dies.
it's kind of not like that in the book, but it's kind of like that in the book in a way.
He's not rough with her like
He's
he is
not rough
with
at
the
her
other
with
ones,
all-
where he doesn't
for
give a
some
fuck.
reason, he's not
There's
rough
something
with her
about
at
it, yeah.
all.
And it makes me think about this double A, like they after that they go in the book a lot into her journal, and it's
Yes,
she
Finch
does
is starting to look through.
yeah, and she does get kind of like ugly because she's like she's like, oh, the people kind of are pathetic,
Yeah,
and I'm like, well, you're fucking with them,
She's a fucking bitch.
and this is who they're doing it to.
Yeah.
She's not. She doesn't come across as bitchy in the movie, but
no, but in the book though, she's a total fucking bitch when she gets to the camp.
Yeah, and who are they experimenting on? The people we said, the gays, the lesbians,
everyone,
the blacks, the
like
Jews.
I said,
you know
it's
what I mean?
horrible because they're they describe so much like stuff happens to them, to their bodies, to their brains. It's kind of like ooh, and she's just writing it down like as information, like just as data. Oh, okay, this happened,
right?
With the black people. This happened with the homosexuals. This
Yeah.
happened with the white people. It's kind of like all that shit for her was just data, just to make a breakthrough,
And it's kind of made me think about it. Double A, right? Is like in our horror series, well, it wasn't really part of our horror series in a way, but in a way it was. Cause, I rewatched Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein, and Dr. Frankenstein, like he's doing these things, whatever, and he starts to feel a certain kind of way or whatever, you know what I mean? But then, like in Bride of Frankenstein, you get that doctor there, the second guy that comes out, he's like, oh, let's make a woman or whatever, excuse me, and he goes so far as to go find the creature and like use him against Frankenstein or whatever. But it's kind of weird, and this is what I'm talking about, like with the Batman thing, and like I said, when the superheroes are doing the things, like in the moment of the act, their mind is doing something where like, I'm gonna hit this motherfucker so hard that like I'm gonna make sure fucking Red Skull don't get up. You know what I mean? Or Batman when he's like, oh, I'm just gonna break his fucking arm. You know what I mean? And it made me think, because there's a moment where like Frankenstein doesn't want to do it in Bride, right? He's like, no, I'm done, man. I'm done with all that. But then once he starts doing it, he's like, oh, like, damn. Like, he's like, man, like, and he's kind of like, I did it again. Like, I created life again. Like, he gets into it, and I'm like, wait, that's, you're kind of into it, but for him, as a scientist, it's probably, like, super exciting, which I kind of thought about him.
Power.
Sure. Yeah. Sure, he wanted to be like God. You know what I mean? And that's what this doctor chick
she was
felt
being
like.
God.
Yeah, she's like, wanting to feel that fucking feeling. So it's kind of... it's extremely dark. It's dark, but
that's what I'm saying. There's just so much shit in this book that you're just like, wow. There's like so much people wanting to be God, people wanting to be powerful, people wanting to be rulers. That you're just like, damn,
And then, like we said, the parallels between the world we know with like fucking Nazis and all that shit, and then you're just like, I know that people. Like they specifically say in the movie, like in the book, they don't do this. Like they just blindfold people. But in the movie, they specifically use like the black bag over the head, which there was the images from Gitmo that were like was like a big thing. Yeah. So it's like again pointing to that whole administrative stuff. Yep. So it's kind of like but again, it's meant to make you think and make you think like, do you think this shit does happen still? There's still stuff going on in the world that's happening. There's people that are doing whatever. I mean. God forbid, right? Double H fucking years from now, we find out, like, oh, COVID was a fucking brewed up in a lab, and we all got this vaccine, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, God only knows, right? It would be something. I'm hoping for the superpowers. I'm hoping for that, you know what I mean? Like, let me get something here, yeah, so very, very interesting. I love how we're having this conversation too. Where it's like a lot of the book stuff. And a lot of stuff. I'm remembering it like as we go to it. Plus, I said I watched those kind of quick like Cliff Note versions of the on YouTube, whatever, which are great for anyone.
The book is so great that the movie, because it's only can be like about 2.5 hours.
Sure.
That it leaves out so much of the information that the book, and it kind of sees like the other characters falling apart because of all this stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
You see poor wives that are that lost their husbands, and shit like that they're very affected, and so it's pretty dark, it's pretty deep.
There's way more characters in the book.
There's a lot more characters in the book.
I didn't get to ask you, did you get to rewatch the movie? You did. No, I was thinking you didn't get to, which is it's actually working out better because I just rewatched it. Yeah. But I know that movie like the back of my hand. Like I really know that movie. Yeah. So it's like I mean, I didn't need to rewatch it, but I did anyway. So it's like, oh, it's like a reason to rewatch it. But yeah, like I hadn't reread the book in a while, but as I was like kind of skimming it, and I was like, okay, like certain parts,
There's
like
so much good shit.
There
in the
is, yeah.
book.
Like I
So
reread
much.
all the priest part, I reread
Yeah.
all the Prothero part, I
Yeah.
reread all of the
doctor
part, and then I was just about to reread the Evie part where she's
Evie.
she goes through her thing or whatever.
Ooh, that's brutal.
And it's
too.
pretty close.
Yeah.
It is pretty close because I
Yeah.
was like, oh, this is very similar,
Yeah.
with the rat and like, but of course, you have her inner monologue, and again, that when it came out last night, I was watching the movie with Jess and my sister. I said, this is my favorite part of the movie, and it's so funny because you get so sucked into that story. It's
Yeah,
like a
you
story
do.
within a
You
story,
do.
and
Which
it is
Alan Moore
so
does a great
beautiful.
job of always doing that.
Yeah.
That story within the story. To tell Black
The
Freighter.
Tale of the Black Freighter, yeah, I
Man,
know, which
when
is
you're-
completely cut out of the movie, but you kind of have to,
But
right? Yeah.
but when you do read it, when you're reading the Watchmen, and you do read that part, you're just like, wow, the parallels. I'm like, wow, that's fucking awesome.
It makes me really think like what Alan Moore doesn't like, because I think he doesn't like that like his beautiful work squeezed into like a 2-hour movie. It's like kind of
It
bastardizing
needs to be-
it,
because
Sure,
it needs to be fleshed
sure.
out, and I don't think people realize that. Hey, a miniseries can be better than a movie.
Yeah, now we definitely
Can
know
be.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder if you think he watched the Watchmen sequel?
No, he said no.
He said no.
No.
That David
No,
Lindelof
he's
did
done.
great.
He's done with.
Yeah, he's
with
done
all
with
that
TV.
stuff. Yeah.
Which is so funny because let me tell you, I watched that interview with him, right? That I told you about, and it looks like it's older. It's probably definitely before the V movie came out, but
Oh, okay.
they're
Okay.
they're pretty much asking about his graphic novels. Like, what do you think about each? Again, like 6-7 minutes. Like he reads from the one that we have right
Oh,
here,
really?
and he's like quoting, but the way he's reading it is like he's doing a lot of like looking at the camera, and like I'm like, okay, I know you're into your own words or whatever, but I'm like,
of course he is, because he believes in them.
sure, yeah, okay, but I'm like, all
course he
right,
is.
like. It's funny because they talk about like Tarantino, how he changed the Bible verse in Pulp Fiction, and they go only a movie director or movie writer, screenwriter would think that he could rewrite the word of God better, right? So this is an interesting, comparison to it. So I was like,
you're gonna
okay, Alan
reread
Moore.
your stuff because you believe in that stuff. That's your real writing.
Yeah,
You're
I mean,
gonna
sure.
believe it.
Hey, if my shit was in print and somebody was
That's what
quoting it,
I'm
I'd
saying,
go,
yeah.
this is fucking,
Yeah.
this is
You're gonna believe
this
it,
is
yeah.
prose,
Yeah.
it's Shakespeare right here. You know what I mean? So, guys, we're right up against probably what will be our last break, right?
Probably,
Double A?
yeah,
I think we're pretty close to
Yeah.
the end here. We're gonna wrap up things on V. We want to get to celebrating the 5th of November
The
with
5th of
all of
November.
you. Guy Fawkes Day, right?
Yep.
Guy Fawkes Day.
Yes.
As learned by Double A's Three Stooges
My
calendar.
Three Stooges
Way to go,
calendar.
Three Stooges calendar. That's not on my Star Wars calendar that hangs
It's
in my
not
house.
my damn Three Stooges.
I need to go look. I'm gonna go check my Star Wars calendar when I get home and be like
Okay.
that. Guys, let's get to your comments. Comment in some more. Tell us what you're doing to celebrate the 5th of November. We'll be right back. All right, Friday Nighters out
And
there
hell,
joining
you
us.
might
live.
not even know about that. The 5th of November. You might be like, what, November 5th or something?
Hey, what do we always say? Double A Mexicans just want a reason to drink or whatever. So we're drinking tonight. Tomorrow there's a fight. We're gonna drink tomorrow for that. Sunday there'll be football. We'll probably drink for that too. But guys, are you still hanging in there with us, hanging out? Are you too busy watching the football game? East Central Hornets kicking major ass. Super happy about that. What do we got there?
Joe says, and I'm back.
And I'm back again.
And then Jeremy says, oh yeah, that hardcover you had was insane. I need that copy too.
I'm telling you, brother, it's only good when you got a couple of copies. I own 2 copies of Watchmen, 2 copies of Kingdom Come.
I
love a book so much I just have
I
multiple.
own 2 copies of Watchmen too.
Yeah?
Yeah. So-
Hardcover and soft?
Hardcover
and soft, right?
Yeah.
Man, there's that really slick absolute version.
Yes,
of it,
yes.
I'm like, fuck, man. What I don't like about the hardcover is the jacket, which is that like that group
Yeah.
photo. I'm like, I mean, I really want the classic yellow. I just wanted it in a
All right,
hardcover.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just give me that one.
That's why I kind of
Yes.
have that one, because I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I like this cover
Just
better.
give me that one. Yeah.
My
So-
2 Kingdom Comes are both soft though. A Kingdom Come hardcover is
It's funny
very hard to
because
come by.
Oh, yeah. So I have the softcover Kingdom Come, and then I have like the last 2 single issues. I believe I have. Yeah.
So my Kingdom Come cover, the first one I have that's my reader, it's like very red, is the black one that came out, which is bad.
Yeah.
The better cover.
Yeah.
Then the other one I have is like they did the really great Alex Ross did another great cover where it's like almost green, and it's like all of them at the and Superman's looking down on the at the table at the tower. I'm like, damn, that's fucking badass, man. Like,
I know which one
so those are both badass. But
again, that was another book. By CM. That showed
I
me.
did not know that.
And that's by far my
those out to you
favorite
guys.
DC story. That I told Mark Waid that when I got a chance to meet him. I said,
Wow.
this is my ultimate DC story. I can fucking pick this book up and just read it anytime and just get into it. I love what I told him. I love what you and Alex Ross did with the characters, the mythology. It's so great. Pick up a copy of Kingdom Come if you can. That's such a great story.
You met him in Houston?
Yes, I went to Houston. Yeah.
Man, Mark Wade, that's
Yeah.
a huge one.
It was for me, and I was like, I gotta go. I gotta go.
When the interviewer in the interview that I watched with David Lloyd is interviewing, he's at a con. So
Is
I don't know if he
Okay.
does a lot of cons
Okay.
or not. I mean, even when people do a lot of cons, they probably don't come to Texas.
Yeah,
but
man.
if that comes up, let me know.
Man.
I'd love to meet them. I'd love for him to sign one of my
Yeah.
hardcovers, both of my hardcovers. I'd pay for both.
Yeah. But I got a chance to tell Mark Waid that was my favorite DC story. It blows everything away for me. That blows everything away.
Oh, I agree. I put it like over Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, I fell in love
I
with
put
it
it
when
over.
I think he had lent it to Will,
Mhm.
and I read it. I got a chance to read it. And I fell in love.
You put it over Watchmen?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
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 I might be with you on that.
That became-
I really love that
I
story.
became a Captain Marvel fan because of that book.
You
Kingdom
know,
Come.
I can't say too much, but a program you've been having me watch recently, as I've been watching it, I desperately was like, how iconic would have been in that Crisis thing they did if
Oh.
they would have if it would have been that scene from the beginning of Kingdom Come where he flies down with the
Yeah.
ponytail and the great
Yeah.
size, but it would have been, Tom, your
Tom
guy.
Welling.
I mean, I would have they could have did him in. Remember, he had just had the overalls on, like no shirt. I was like, he would have looked so cool.
And he's so great right now
Oh,
too.
I know, and he looks like that now. He looks
He's
like
fucking
Kingdom Come
big.
Superman.
Yeah,
he
he's
look, I'm
fucking
like,
big.
man, if he would have done that scene where, remember he's got the tractor,
Yes,
and he's like,
yes.
I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you were meant to do that, man. Like you were meant to do that. Somebody make that happen. So yeah, Dolly, what do we got here?
Joe says Dark Knight Returns has great inner monologue. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. There's a lot of good stuff in there. Yeah.
And Joe actually posted it. I forgot if it was on our group or not, or it was just his own. But his daughter dressed up like the Robin from Dark Knight.
Oh
Returns.
yeah,
Remember?
yeah.
I was
One
like,
year,
oh,
yeah,
shit.
that's right. Yeah,
I was like, yeah, man, that was that specific Robin. I was like, that's.
He
that's
talks
fucking
about
cool.
that. Yeah, that's a comic book dad
That
for
was
you right
fucking
there. Yeah,
cool,
that's
man.
very cool,
Yeah.
man. That's very cool. He brought that up, I think, on his show a couple of times, so I enjoyed that. Yeah, man. Need you and Luck to get back in the studio, Joe. We need a new ep, bro. I'm running dry
I know,
here.
you guys were pushing it. I was like, holy shit.
It's giving me a chance to binge through some totally rad Christmas though, JD stuff. But yeah, man.
We're
Very
hoping
cool.
that, like I said, we're really hoping to do something with Jerry. If not in December, maybe in January, maybe because he got a full slate, and we were supposed to do something with the Now Watch This podcast, but
they really want this guy on,
and we were gonna do it. It was gonna be really fun. But some stuff happened. So
yeah.
But I mean, it's not like a one time thing. We can always do it in December, January, or whatever. So
Luck invited me the other night. They were right before they were about to record. I was asking him about something else. He was like, "You can come over if you want. Come get on the episode." I was like, "Oh man!" I was like, "Damn, I can't get over there right now, or whatever."
Yeah.
But I was just like, it's funny because I know that in one episode you can. Again, guys, go check out Now Watch This with Lucky and Joe. They talk about movies and they watch along with you. But they in the audio version only, Luck does like this post credit scene or whatever. And it's just them two talking. But he's like, yeah, man. He's like, what about next week? What are we gonna do? Joe's asking Lucky, and he's like, should we get Chuck on? And then he's like, well, we really got to get Double A. Okay. He's like, it's either going to be they got to get Double A on solo or they got to get the team on. So I get it. It's okay. I can't be on everything. So I'm happy. I will never catch Jerry D as being on the most podcasts. Jerry's on everybody's everything. In fact, I forgot that I did have him on for 10 minutes in our 75th episode. He comes on real quick.
Yeah, that's right.
And he goes, I have been on, even though it's only for 10 minutes, but I haven't. I said, put it on your resume then, brother. Yeah, there you go. But no, we're going to do a full episode with Jerry. And I'm excited for that thing that maybe happened in January. Is it January or February? Maybe January.
The wrestling thing?
Yeah.
It's January.
It's January
15th.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. We got to work out those details, but that'll be really neat. I think that'll be really neat.
I think so too.
And if we're there all day,
well, it said 12 to 6, and then it would be like the wrestling his store after dark. They usually have like an after dark where they get together. And
I wonder how
just
that's
chill
going to be.
out.
Like, would we record live or would we just do like a bunch of bursts? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I really don't know.
I would record it probably in segments, and I would love to have like our wrestling guys come out, like Sean, Joe, which I've had them, but they were on our 75th. I would love to have Albert come out, like our hardcore wrestling guys. Shit, I'd love to get George and Mario out, just be like, I want to come out.
On that one.
Yeah, I know. Those are our reclusive, hard to get wrestling buff. But
Mario, maybe not, but George, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So interesting stuff.
But
all right,
we have a lot of stuff going.
Yeah, we got some stuff going, man.
So.
Stuff coming. So we're hoping.
Have you checked out the episode, the Robotech episode?
No, I haven't had a chance yet. No, you said I can watch it where?
I sent the link.
Oh, okay. It's on YouTube. You said it's on YouTube.
When we did our group chat with Jerry.
No, I definitely want. Well, I should watch it once and then I watch it closer if we end up doing that.
If we end up doing that, that'd be really cool. Like I said, I was like racking my brain because when he threw out that Spider-Man issue, I was kind of like, oh shit, because I have that issue. It's a really depressing kind of issue.
I want to read it.
But I was like, man, what is something that maybe Jerry hasn't done? Christmas in the 80s. Like, for some reason, like, one week, I was, like, really racking my brain. Like, what the fuck hasn't he done?
Yeah, when I saw you throw out that conversation, I was like, oh, you poking the beast here right here. Because I know Jerry knows his stuff. So.
Yeah, because, he's done a lot for us. He's he's helped spread our word a lot.
He shares everything we post.
So I just kind of wanted to do something maybe that, that we can kind of show our appreciation.
Hey, but like I said, he would probably welcome the chance to talk modern stuff because he can't talk the new Masters of the Universe on his show because it doesn't fit. You know what I mean? So he says it in the episode with his brother, this current one. He goes, I kind of painted myself into a corner with Christmas in the 80s.
Yeah, and even it is kind of hard because I was kind of like, well, shit, what else is there?
But again, he travels the whole spectrum because again, we did a whole episode on Pizza Hut, and I didn't know that Pizza Hut had dude the wrestling stuff he showed me with the Roddy Piper 80s. Christmas, Ghost of Christmas, Wrestling Past.
Okay.
I was like, when did they do these vignettes? I don't even remember that. Like, I was like, Jerry, you went deep, bro. So, he does a really great job of capturing that.
Yeah, it's kind of hard because you're like, well, what about this one? It's like, no, it's kind of 90s.
No,
it's the 70s.
He said that with No,
but that's what I mean. Like, you think about, like, some of the stuff right and you're like, well, shit, that's still in the 70s.
Right.
You're like, fuck.
Well, he jokingly said that he goes, I kind of curve a little bit, like, a few years out, a few years. And then he also said, he goes, I take a little bit of liberties. He says, even if it was a cool toy that you got for Christmas in the 80s, I'll count it. And he even says, he goes, the reason why he did Karate Kid, he goes, if you look,
movie,
and he says in the movie, in the scene when Elizabeth Shue and Daniel are at the mini golf place, he says that you see the Christmas lights and all that.
No, and it's true because like he even has
the time
December.
Frame.
Like even in Cobra Kai, it's December, the All Valley tournament.
He said he dropped this episode in this time because it's exactly the time that it would have been. So I was like, oh, that's kind of neat.
Nice.
Who the fuck thinks about that? I didn't think about that.
Well, it's funny. It's like it's only like one scene, but like my brother loves watching Rocky on Thanksgiving, just for that one scene because it happens on Thanksgiving.
Part 1?
When they have the date. Remember when Paulie throws the turkey out?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Thanksgiving. And he, for some reason, he's like, man, that's a Thanksgiving movie. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not a Thanksgiving movie. Like, come on,
that's kind of cool. I never thought of it. Who's that boy?
Will.
Yeah,
that's not a Thanksgiving movie. That's only like one scene.
All the Rocky movies do feel cold though. Like it's cold. I'm like, it fucking feels cold in Philly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when he wakes up in his underwear, he's like,
or when he's running the original gray sweats wears Rocky Balboa right there for you. All right, Double A, you ready to take this one home?
Let's go.
All right, guys. Let's go ahead and get back into our recording.
V for Vendetta.
V for Vendetta tonight on the night, the 5th of November. It does not get better timing than that, Double A. So.
And Patricia, I saw that you asked to join the group also.
We'll make sure we approve that.
We'll join you.
Yeah, we'll approve that right now. As soon as we get done with this show. Let's bring it back in right now. All right, guys, if you were checking us out, we had a few comments in there. Joe was there. Jeremy was there in the comment section. Guys, we want you to invite you to go subscribe to our YouTube channel. There you can see all the visual bits that we do that don't work on a podcast, as Jerry D from Totally Rad Christmas says, which is true. They don't work. And we had a big visual bit at the beginning of this show, which may not have made a lot of sense.
But we've been seeing that on YouTube. You guys have been viewing, so
and we greatly appreciate.
You guys are interested in what we're showing. So
all we ask is that you hit that subscribe button, hit the little bell to get notifications. It's one show a week. And
yeah, it's only going to go off once.
If you watch the first 30 seconds and you're bummed, you can take off. Just give us 30 seconds. That's all we ask. For sure on YouTube. But if you prefer watching us, this video version on Facebook, you can do that as well. We ask you to like our page, Just Another Friday Night, and join our Facebook group, The Friday Night Faithful, who is all of you. You are Friday Nighters. And then we'll keep the conversation going about whatever the topic may be, and it doesn't have to be this topic. We can talk about anything.
Anything.
You know what I mean?
Anything pop culture, throw it in.
We just got our new friend Patricia in, and she's a horror fan, so we get that.
We have a few podcasters, too, that we tell them, share your stuff on our page, too. We have, like, about 2 or 3 podcasts that, usually share their stuff. The Now Watch This, Totally Rad Christmas, and then we have the other one. I forget the...
Christmas one? Is it a Christmas one?
No, it's the other one.
The Blurred Nerds.
Yeah,
the Blurred Nerds are great guys. Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
I'm sorry, but the Blurred Nerds.
That's okay.
And we tell them, come to our page, share your stuff with us. Share. Maybe our fans will like your stuff too. So.
Yeah, and then there's even other groups there's our good buddy Rizzo over at Invincible Comics and More, where he's constantly selling stuff that you guys, this stuff would make great Christmas gifts.
Yeah.
The comic book lover in your life, the guy that's a fan of this stuff. Oh, did you see his new Negan cover?
Yes, I did.
Gosh, dang it. That was a gorgeous,
and then,
gorgeous cover.
we try to help our buddy at Authority Comics, right here.
Yeah, there you go. Mario Delgado over at Authority Comics.
Great salesman. You're not going to find a better comic book salesman anywhere in Texas than Mario, so... Yeah, so
100%.
Come on our page, man. You'll see a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, and if you want to get a shirt like Double A is wearing, you go right here, 3leggedrabbit.com. That's run by one of our friends over at the Now Watch This podcast with Lucky and Joe, aka the Dork Dad Lucky. It's his site. He's got many, many cool T-shirts, but he's also got many, many cool podcast T-shirts, including our own, including the very awesome versions created by Chris Rizzo, where it looks like a cover of Sin City. You get the Double A version or the CM version. We don't care which version you get, just get one. You know what I mean? So, that's super awesome. So the merch is out there. So you guys go check that out or whatever. But we're not talking that right now. We're talking all things. Remember the 5th of November, the Gunpowder Treason and Plot. Double A. So... Let's wrap it up. Final thoughts. I mean, we don't need to go into necessarily the end of the book or the movie. We want people to watch.
I love the character. The V character is so great. He's kind of heroic, but kind of like you don't know what he's trying to do, his end game, until finally the end.
Yeah.
Where it's like he just wants to be a symbol of getting over this oppression that the people have put themselves in, and he has this great part where he's talking to Lady Justice,
I love that.
He's like, I was in love with you, and then you cheated on me. You embraced the fascism while I find a new lover, and that new lover is anarchy. And he's just,
he even talks about her wearing the blindfold. He's like, I see why you wear that blindfold. I mean, like, that shit is really
there's so
beautiful and powerfully written.
There's that part, and again, the Valerie part, the whole story about her, she was a very beautiful actress who was lesbian, and she fell in love with this woman, and for 3 years, it was the greatest, 3 years of her life. And then, that's when the North Fire took over. That's when Europe went into, the chaos. Disarray. And then it got, taken over by, supremacists, fascists, and she, her lover got taken away, got tortured, it gave up her name, and then she committed suicide because she felt so guilty about giving her up. And Valerie, fought until her body just gave out on her.
Yeah.
But, the messages she was sending V, maybe it made V survive even more. Maybe that's where V got his whole purpose. Everything, the anarchy, the destruction, the vengeance. Maybe it was because of her. Maybe it was that notes that made him uplifted, I love you, maybe that's all sometimes people need to hear sometimes when you're in a really, really low place. Sometimes when people just tell you, I love you, that's a very powerful 3-letter word, and it could really make that person, when you're feeling super low, that person hangs on to those 3 words and is like, okay, there's someone out there that cares about me. That's all you need sometimes. It's just knowing that there's one person out there you know, and it's such a beautiful part. And he goes on this, you know, just this mission just to avenge her, avenge what happened to them at that camp, those people, and just rain anarchy on this fucking government that didn't care about anybody, that only cares about themselves, you know. So yeah, it's a great story.
Like in the title, you know, the Vendetta. He's vengeance. He's the Vendetta.
Yeah.
And I think that there's something else too there, you know, like I mean, I agree pretty much 100% with everything you said, Double A, but just like you said, you know, regarding the I love you thing is a little bit off topic, but I mean, like, you know, we just saw CM Punk drop that really beautiful promo on AEW where he mentioned, you know, if you need help, if you feel a certain kind of way, you reach out to somebody. You know what I mean? Me and Double A are people. We might not know you from this group or from this podcast, but you could, if you're feeling a certain kind of way, you can reach out to one of us. We'll sit with you and talk with you. You know, I mean, like, we're human beings too. You know what I mean? We're going through the human experience as well. And if you need somebody because you're feeling that kind of way, then let us know. You know what I mean? And we want to wish, you know, John Moxley a quick recovery too with what he's doing. I mean, that's super brave. And I think it's fucking awesome that CM Punk took the opportunity to sit in the middle of the ring and do that and say that. And I think that's really, really badass. But that's exactly kind of, you know, relating back to what we're talking about when it comes to V. Because I think, in my opinion, and the essence of it is there in the book and the movie where, yes, it was these specific people that did this to him, that ran this facility, you know, and yes, he was on a mission for vengeance and a vendetta for them. But what he saw was that he was like, in a sense, they were still the pawn of the bigger enemy, which was the government. Yeah. And that's why he went on this vendetta for them. And, you know, there's a huge part in both the book and the movie that revolve around, he basically tortures this young woman that he cares about or whatever because she lives in fear in both versions. And she's afraid. And
it's really beautiful written, and it's kind of like ugly to read about it, but it's kind of like she comes out stronger because of what he does to her, and it kind of like frees her.
It does free her, but I mean, that part is so fucked brutal. Up. It's you're
very
like
brutal.
I mean,
and it kind of gives you a clue maybe of what he went through.
Yeah,
and maybe that's why he's doing that to her.
Right. Imagine you gain freedom through something, and you're like, well, now this person is telling me they want freedom. Well, I got to do to them what happened to me. That's the only way I know to do it. That's going to really work, and. When he explains it, it is true, but you're also like, you know, in the movie, you know, you see it, and in the book, it's
in
like,
the book too, he's kind of like, you know, what you're feeling right now, that's freedom. You're actually going out there, like she's having a hard time breathing, and he's like, because you're so close to being so free from what your shackles, you know. That
scene of her in the rain, is to me so similar to Andy Dufresne, in the Shawshank Redemption, and in the rain. Yes. And it's just gorgeous.
I never even thought about that.
I love that. I know you love Shawshank, and I see and feel that scene in so many ways. And you're like, man. And again, it's like he gave her this gift, but it came through all this pain and all this. Basically, the person that you are gets torn down to nothing. That doesn't exist no more. Maybe this is what they say they do in the military, where they're trying to tear you down and rebuild you a certain way. That's essentially what V does. He takes the frightened, naive girl, and he makes a strong, powerful woman. Now, as I'm watching this last night with my girlfriend and my sister, my girlfriend's watching it, but you know, we're kind of all talking because we've seen it all. You know what I mean? And I say, "You seen this, right, baby?" And she goes, "Yeah, it's been a while though." And then she's like, "She becomes him, right? She becomes V." And I said. And I know she hasn't read the book. And I'm like, no, babe, that's not in this one. Oh. And then as I was revisiting the book, I was like, oh, fuck, that's what happens.
Yeah,
like,
in the book,
that's what happens. And I said, so I asked her, I said, what led you to think that way? She goes, well, it just seemed like the things that he was doing were to build up the next person. And I'm like, talk about the idea translating where she saw it going that way. This is my girlfriend is like a very fair weather fan of this stuff. She saw it going that way based on what she was seeing in the movie. That's not how the movie goes because she does not become, you know, V. But in the book, that's exactly what happens. Yeah. Evie becomes, in a sense, the next V or whatever. The symbol, right. He's trying to, like, you know, kind of like how, you know, although we all know the bottom part of Batman's mask is open, it's like, you know, he says that, you know, under the mask, it's like the the symbol of Batman is supposed to be what it is. You know what I mean? You know, although you got to be a white guy and with a chiseled chin to be Batman. You know, so it's like, you know, that's why I like Spider-Man a little bit better. The mask covers the whole thing. Anyone can wear the mask. And I mean, that's a theme of Spider-Man. And it's like, that's a huge theme of V. They do it differently in the movie where everybody gets a mask and the people are represented by all wearing it or whatever.
That's right.
But in the book is very cool because she essentially takes a protege herself, where it's like, this person will be
his
who
deputy, almost.
Right.
Yeah,
this will be who I train now in the ways of, you know, like, hey, the curtains pulled back. This is what's behind the fucking scenes, or whatever, you know, and to make that person, you know, essentially become the next, you know, I mean, you could almost say spirit of vengeance in a way, right? I mean, like, that's kind of what it is. And so I totally dig that. I totally love that. I think that's awesome. I mean, you know, we're not anarchists, you know what I mean, or anything like that, but we definitely get, you know, there's something to it. Like, you wouldn't call, like, Native Americans anarchists, but they lived kind of more, it was like with necessity or whatever. You live off the land, you know, your motivation is survival, not like, you know.
We've had this talk off air, me and you, talking about like how, you know, sometimes we want to say, you know what, let's give up all the materials, like it'd be so nice.
Yeah,
you know?
we'd have to feel
that. We probably would be free,
liberated.
Sure. We didn't care about so much of this shit, you know. And we've had pretty deep talks about this, you know, where it's just like, man, I bet it'd be nice if we just gave up everything we cared about, and I bet you it'd be so liberating to not even have this worry anymore, you know. So, I mean, that's what it is.
I tell everyone that. I said, think about the things that bind you. Think about bills. Think about all that. I'm like, you're bound by those things because we tell ourselves that, well, if I want a Snickers bar, I give you this piece of paper that I call a $5 bill, and you believe it's worth that, and I believe it's worth that, and that's what makes it work. And you're like, well, what if people didn't believe that? Remember, the Nazis were printing their own currency, and that was going to be the new currency or whatever. And once their shit failed, it's like, well, now it's worthless, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's all about, it's really is a lot faith-based. I tell people, insurance. Look at insurance. There's life insurance, there's house insurance, there's car insurance. You know what insurance is peace of mind.
Yeah, it really is.
You're buying into something that in the event something bad happens to me, you're going to make me be okay, right? What a concept, right? Double A. Like, do you think that the Native Americans in you know, the old West, you know, had this thought? No, you can't buy peace of mind. Nope. I mean, like, sometimes things aren't okay. They would grow crops and store them and hope to make it through the winter.
Yep.
If you're in a harsh area where the winter is real bad, and if not, you migrate south and you're trying to survive. Survival is the key. You know what I mean? It's like not power. And this is what happened. People got the power.
But how free they probably felt, though,
just
living like that. You know?
They probably just felt like, oh, this is just what you got to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, remember how many times we've been camping together a couple of times, right?
Yeah.
And what do you do when you go camping? It's like you get there, you set up your shelter, because well, there might be the elements.
Yeah.
Okay, and where are we going to sleep, right? Okay, and then what do you do next? You're like, well, we should probably get something ready to eat.
Yeah.
Then you eat or whatever, right? There's very kind of a little bit of downtime for activity, because then before you know it, you're like, okay, now pack up the shelter and pack up like you're preparing for the next thing. Like, that's what life was like back then when there was no other. Whatever.
Not some group telling you what to do. Not some group telling you can't do this, you can't do that.
What are taxes? Taxes tell you that, hey, we're providing you this. We're providing you.
Yeah.
We're protecting you. We're doing.
You're paying for this land, but if you can't make your payment, I mean, you're gonna get thrown off. You know, it's kind of like, all right. You know?
And again, we're not anarchists. You know what I mean? We're just saying that, like. I think the whole purpose is to make you think, right?
Yeah.
Like, think about it. Think about the things that you do every day. Think about the choices that you make. Think about the officials.
Why do you go in at 8 o'clock? Why are you going at 7 o'clock? You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, think about the people that you elect into office, whatever. If we have to play by these rules, okay, think about making the best outcome, not just for you and your family, but your neighbor and your neighbor's neighbor and your other family. Because guess what? If we don't look out for each other, they're not looking out for us.
They're not.
That's what this t-shirt says. It says, people should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their people. And that is a huge theme of the book and the movie. in V for Vendetta, because that's what he's saying. He's like, remember, we're the power, not them.
It's supposed to be that way.
They're only the power if we let them be the power.
And we have let them be the power
for a long time. Yep. And again, those few people that have it, they hold on to it and they don't let it go. And they'll do anything to keep it.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like I said, again, there's extremes in the book and in the movie, viruses and war and all that stuff, you know what I mean? But again, it's like, it's only if you let them have it, do they have it,
Yeah.
So
interesting character, interesting storyline, interesting group of characters. Like I say in the book, it's really kind of like fleshed out a lot.
Yeah.
You got power behind power, so
yeah,
it's kind of crazy.
And I had a beautiful figure of V. It was a NECA. I forgot who made it.
Ooh.
It was gorgeous. When I sold my first collection, I sold it as part of that. I've looked for it now, and it goes for well over $70. So I've never seen one at any cons. And I definitely ain't seen one online for cheaper than that. So I'm like, I can't believe I let that go. But it was badass from the movie. He looks great with the tall hat, and like it's an awesome figure.
It's funny because like David Lloyd, I read some interview too saying how the mask just started selling like crazy after the movie came out. Yeah. And we have seen so many.
It's everywhere.
Like so many when people protest, they have the Guy Fawkes mask, and you're just like, wow.
I think the famous like anonymous,
they use
the hacker uses it. Whatever.
That, yeah.
Again, because it is a symbol. It's a symbol of revolting and rebelling against the quote unquote powers that be. You know what I mean? So and again, I don't think there's anything wrong with revolt in the right essence. You know what I mean? What does Jeremy say here, Double A?
He goes, I actually always loved V as a character. Something about the character always gets me. I always like mysterious characters, and V fits that so perfectly.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a good character. He's a really solid character. He's very driven in what he's trying to do. He's very calculating. And you're just thinking, man, this man is crazy, and he's not. He has a whole plan outlined. Like they say that he actually murdered like about 40 people in like the 4 years prior before he went to the big three that he really wanted.
Oh wow, that's
Finch
cool.
is like, but they all look like they died of natural causes, and they didn't. So he's very calculated,
very busy. And what's interesting to me also is the fact that he was very big on who I am or who I was before doesn't matter.
No.
Because this is the idea is what you're protecting. You protect,
and I like too because Evie, like at the end of the book, at least she thinks about maybe taking off the mask, and she's so afraid, but then she doesn't. She's like, you know what? No, it doesn't matter who's behind the mask. It's about what he represented,
and that's in the movie too, where she wants to take it off, but then she decides otherwise, and she ends up kissing him on the mask, which is like a. It's kind of a weird moment or whatever, but you're like, all right, like that.
But you get it though. Like that mask is him.
Yeah. And that's what he tells Creedy in the end of the movie. In the movie part, he says, "Who I am doesn't matter." And again, like I said, I quote earlier, he says, "because ideas are bulletproof." So it's like, what you can't take is what I've already given all the people by showing them this face, this visage, which in a sense, it's kind of like, I feel like Batman brought kind of heavily from that.
Yeah,
it
did. Especially the Batman Begins.
I'm like, but if I wear your cowl, you can see that I've got a birthmark and then a semi beard here. Double A's got a much healthier beard. I get where you're going, Batman, but you cover the whole shit up if you're going to do it. You know what I'm saying? But great comment, Jeremy. So interesting and cool that you bought that book.
Yeah, I think if anybody opens the book, you'll be sucked in right away. There's
beautiful
so much
art,
great stuff,
great writing.
Yeah.
I mean, like again, the first couple of pages with the Eevee thing, you're like, what the heck? You know what I mean? So it's amazing. It's a wonderful read. I'm honored to own 3 copies and 2 copies of the movie. It's badass, man. Great choice, Double A. Can't say enough about how you pulled this one.
It's the 5th of November.
Yeah, for sure. Anything else, Double A?
Yeah, just check it out. It's a really cool book. It's a really cool movie. Check it out. I think you'll probably feel like, man, maybe I should do something.
For sure. At least look at the people that are in charge a little bit better. If you got to play by the rules, again, make sure that you're letting the rules be chosen that suit you to the best. You know what I mean? So. again, question things. And it's not wrong to question things. It's not wrong to challenge ideals that have existed or whatever. Why is this? Why do you do these things? Why do you have to do these things? Because
after a while, some people forget why they were there in the first place.
Sure.
They're just doing them.
Exactly.
Because you're comforting it.
Exactly. And remember, those in power want to stay in power, and they'll do anything to hold on to it. So,
real bad.
You know what I mean? And again, if you're a person that says, I don't want to live by that, you know what I mean? Like I said earlier, and again, I read this, is that anarchy does not mean without rules. It means without rulers. And, currently we kind of live in a society filled with rulers. You know what I mean? So, and I don't mean the measuring kind you get at your fucking elementary school. So, take that into mind. Take that into account. Well, Double A, if you don't have anything else.
It was fun. It was fun chopping this up.
Great choice, man. I was super excited.
It's cool that it is November 5th, and it's a book, that movie that we really love. So, yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, check it out. Check out the book. Check out the movie. They're both great in their own right. They exist, to me, as their own medium perfectly. So go enjoy them both. Jeremy says, actually, guys, great talk. Going to be tuning in a lot more now that I got a new profile on Facebook. Right. Great, man. Great. Jeremy, make sure you join the group, the Friday Night Faithful, so we can get you in there.
He did.
Okay, perfect. And we're glad to have you back in your new profile form. Don't lose your information this time. Guys, we like to say here on Just Another Friday Night, every Friday night that we get to do this show.
How perfect is it for this one?
Yeah, it sure is. Two things, guys. We like to say, if there's something that you want to do, a hope, a dream, if there's an idea you want to challenge, seize the day. There's no time like today. We just had an election not that long ago. You know what I mean? Like, make every election. Go out and vote. Educate yourselves about who the candidates are. I mean, educate yourself, just period. You know what I mean? Like, read stuff like this. Read literature that challenges the normal ideas or whatever, and ask those questions or whatever, and educate the people that, you learned about it with. So seize the day in that respect, right, Double A?
Yep.
And the other thing we like to say is clearly a man that does whatever it takes. There is no one probably that did it better than Cap, than V himself. Cap says, do whatever it takes. He's trying to bring back half the population of the world, the universe, after Thanos' snap. And he says, hey, guys, we got one shot. You do whatever it takes. I don't think V needed anybody to tell him that. He just knew that he was going to do whatever it took after that. And again, I even see, even at sometimes at Evie's expense, he didn't care. It was like the mission was solitary or whatever. And he was on that path. And I think that's another kind of divergence in the book and the movie that people probably don't like, is that he gets more infatuated with Evie in the movie, but because she's a little bit older, that story plays out a little bit different because she's an older gal there or whatever. But definitely, Steve, I'm glad to hear that you agree. He says true, Chuck. Guys, well, from myself, I'm not Double A. Too many beers. For myself, CM Chuck, and
Double A.
This has been Just Another Friday Night. We want to give a very special thanks to our guest who made it out tonight on his busiest night of the year. This is like his Christmas. V, who joined us earlier. If you're listening on audio, go check him out visually on YouTube or on Facebook to see the visual appearance of one himself, V, on the 5th of November. So, guys, have a great night. Stay safe, be smart, protect yourselves, and remember, the 5th of November. All right, guys, good night. I'll catch you next week.